Well, it's not spring yet, but it feels like the temperature has moderated quite a bit. You can even look and see how much the snow has melted here at Aqueduct Racetrack in South Oaklawn Park, New York, just across the street from JFK Airport at Aqueduct. We got 4 races here. We've got 6 at Oaklawn Park. The Mig and Meg show will be at Oaklawn a little bit, but for now, thanks for joining us on America's Day at the Races. Andy Serling, joined by Paul Verderosa. Have some fun this afternoon, and big news on our racetrack. We've run 4 races so far today. The track looks perfectly fair.
It is great to see after the stretch we had where it was just roll the dice, and if you got inside, you did very well, and if you were forward, you're even better. So it's good to see after the couple of days break that we had that we got a fairer racetrack and some good action.
I agree. It feels like the racing is much more true. That's always the case if you win a couple bets. It's not that true when you lose, but it does seem like we have a fair racetrack. Looking forward to talking about our races here. Looking forward to hearing from the crew down at Oaklawn Park as well, as we have a lot of good racing coming up. Late pick 4 coming up here in about 15 minutes, a little bit less. Race number 4 starts their Classic 6, which they brought back at Oaklawn Park. They are fast here. We are fast here as well. They're also fast down at Turf Paradise. We'll be showing you races 5 and 6 a little bit later on the show. Unfortunately, Maggie Wolfendale not able to come in today. We should see her again tomorrow, though. She's okay, just not here today, so you're stuck with me and Paul in New York. And, of course, the big team down at Oaklawn Park as well, covering their races. Want to remind people, if you're not a member of NYRA Bets, no better time than the present. Use the promo code BONUS200. Head over to NYRABets.com, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Play through NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime through NYRA Bets, as promised. While we have plenty of action here, and horses are in the paddock for our 5th race. Oaklawn, race number 4 coming up, and there they are, the dream team, the Meg and Mig show down in Hot Springs.
Well, thank you, Andy. Good to see you both, Andy and Paul. Megan, we're going to jump right into the action here. We're only about 2 minutes supposed to race 4, the first race we're covering here today on America's Day at the Races. Had a field of 11, 1 late scratch in the 10, Denali Lightning. But I think you and I kind of centered more on the middle of the field, if you will, starting with the 3-horse Capital Connection.
Yeah, dropping in tag. First off the claim for Gennaro Garcia, though. We both kind of had our questions. He's missed some training. He's also kind of one that's been hard to keep on the racetrack. Let's see if he's a reliable favorite. I'm not so sure he is.
Well, it's just a little concerning, right? He was claimed for 30 back in November, hasn't been seen since. Now he comes at a reduced level for 12.5. Maybe they're just being aggressive to get a win, but always a moment for pause right outside of that horse from the white-hot Steve Asmussen barn, Eric Asmussen riding so good. The 4, Good News Rocket.
Really liked this horse, showing speed 2 back, now second off of that layoff, and was competitive here. As I mentioned, 2 back, showed more speed, was forward, and had the lead. I think that horse definitely was conducive for a cutback in distance, which he gets here today. If Eric can have this horse more forward, he's a major player, and you're getting a pretty decent price there, up there at 9-1.
Yeah, there are times he doesn't break super sharp. Last time he kind of got squeezed and he clipped heels, so kind of put a line through that race. Go to the race 2 back. I think it's more indicative of his true form. The lightly raced 5-horse Irish Guard showed speed, ran well on debut.
This is who I'm going with in here for Amir Mendoza up for trainer John Ortiz. Amir Mendoza just really on a solid roll. He notched his 12th win of a tough colony this meet in race number 2. But this horse, Irish Guard, ran really well for an Arkansas bred on debut against open foes. He was lots to like, I thought, showing that speed, was showing run. You want to see horses do a couple of things right, and that's exactly what he did on debut. Did finish 4th against more experienced foes. You could tell he was on the wrong lead there for a moment, still learning things, but still ran pretty well. Coming back to the same level, sprinting is surely his game, as he's kind of one of those smaller, more compact types.
And I've been impressed with Amir Mendoza. I mean, he just makes a nice impression. Seems like he knows where he's at in the race. Are you surprised this horse is 7-1? I thought he might be a bit shorter.
I think it's just the experience that everybody gets on him. But, I mean, if you're just comparing him on raw buyer speed figures, he's right there with some of the shorter prices that you're accepting. And I want to take 8-1 on him all day long, especially in these lower-level claimers where I think there could be a modicum of different outcomes. And I'm not too keen on your favorite up there at 2-1.
And right outside of this horse, again, we went right in a row. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kentucky or KY Duclair. This horse turning back. I know you like a turn back.
I do love a turn back. You're just getting to know me so well, Mig. But I like this horse too, Ramon Vasquez. I mean, wow. A 5-win day last week. That's really hard to do anywhere, but it's very hard to do here. Now this horse off the layoff and comes back here at 2 back, made up good ground. He doesn't have a lot of speed. We'll see if he can be a little bit more tactical, but it seemed like he kind of chased and fell apart last time out on the sloppy sealed surface, getting a break with a red hot trainer there in Peter Miller.
And we'll touch briefly on the 7 Into Battle, a horse that really caught both of our eyes in the warm-up. He framed up beautifully.
He looked fantastic. He got the ultimate equipment change, getting gelded for the first time. The blinkers come off. We'll see if that wakes him up a bit. He's not really done a whole lot of running, but a very potent combination, Norm Cassie and Luis Saez.
Well, this field of maidens loading up very nicely and professionally up to this point. We'll send it up to Matt Dinneman for the call of race 4.
Irish Guard coming up. Cunning Class to the outside post. We're ready to go. Looks like the 3 Capital Connection was a little stirred up in there. Looks like he did open the front of the gate. Capital Connection. They're going to close up now, and then we'll be ready to go. Start of the $1 Class 6 here. That's a traditional pick 6 each and every day here at Oaklawn. Now we're ready. And we're off. From the far outside, Cunning Class gets the first call. Good News Rocket moving up alongside, and Capital Connection hard sent for the lead too. Capital Connection is quickest. Good News Rocket will take a hold. Will press from the outside, running in second. Amazing Music third inside, getting closer. Then comes Kentucky Do Declare. Irish Guard in the short leaf colors is 3 lengths off the pace. 3 lengths back to Cunning Class now with Into Battle and Arky Road to the inside. Another 4 lengths to Joe Willie, second to last, and our flat out is at the back as they round the far turn. Capital Connection trying to clear off once again. Amazing Music made an early bid on the inside, backs away into third. Good News Rocket has been patiently ridden throughout, a half length back rounding the turn. Kentucky Do Declare is on the move in the 3 path. Needs to keep going here, but he's making his move as they come to the top of this stretch. Back to the lead. Capital Connection with Good News Rocket. Good News Rocket now is ahead in front. Kentucky Do Declare trying to reel him in from the outside. Inside, Capital Connection is giving way. 2-horse race. Kentucky Do Declare trying to make it a 1-horse race, but Good News Rocket's stubborn. Kentucky Do Declare, he's got an arrow edge now, has the momentum. Kentucky Do Declare and Ramon Vasquez to pull away to win late. Good News Rocket was second, Capital Connection third, Joe Willie was fourth.
Well, Ramon Vasquez coming off of that 5-win day you were talking about earlier, Megan, gets it done with Kentucky Do Declare. And a nice effort by the runner-up, Good News Rocket, just second best.
Yeah, the number 4 was traveling well, but the number 6 at Kentucky Do Declare, Peter Miller is at a 29% clip, minus, of course, this win. He's doing so well. I will say he's just 1 for 15 first off the claim with maiden, so not typically the best in these situations, but he came back so fresh, really ready to go, and mid-range, tactical, made up ground well, and just best in the end. But Ramon Vasquez had a heck of a week last week, and it seems he's getting into the same rhythm.
And, when a rider's riding well, they get their position going forward. This was a horse that coming out of longer races, so even though he's coming off a layup, there's some stamina in there. And when he was traveling as well as he was that close, you had to believe he was going to finish, and he certainly did.
Yeah, he's been one of those that kind of has some of those gait issues as well, off slow, maybe not the quickest out of the gate. He seems to be a bigger kind of horse, and he really was able to put everything together today on the drop in class.
Well, a very confident Ramon Vasquez gets the win here. Let's head back to New York. We got some action coming up at the Big A.
Even in horse racing, the Jets can't seem to get it done, as Joe Willie got 4th in that race at Oaklawn. And I see he's been burning a little money lately. He is now 0 for 12, just like the Jets.
There you go.
He's like the
what?
equine equivalent of the Jets.
Until you mentioned that, you were saying they missed the fun of it. Now I know
Willie.
what you meant. Joe Namath.
Joe Willie Namath, of course. Race number 5 coming up. The horses are actually leaving the paddock now and heading the track, so we will have a post-parade for race number 5. I'm interested in the number 2. I think you are too, Paul, but I would book this horse at 7-2 before I bet on her. This is a ridiculous underlay at this point.
I agree, for a horse who's 1 for 26 lifetime.
Well, there are a lot of 1-fors in here, and the horse will probably be favored. The number 6, Spirit Ether's 1 for 21, and maybe the appeal of the 4 is the only 1 for 6 as the number 1 Windershins hits the track with Raylu.
Struggling the last couple of starts, beating over 20 in those starts on the dirt.
The number 2, that's the Fact Jack over Bet right now with Dominic Scatino training.
Drops in class, and we'll see how much that dead rail did play a factor. We'll talk about it.
The number 3, Mia Nipotina, she's a little bit more inviting at 11 to 1.
Yeah, she's faced better, and she drops here, so we'll see what we get from her. She's going to come from left field, though.
Take Me to London goes out for Brad Cox and Jamie Rodriguez. She'll come down from 7 to 2, I guess.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what she does today with a little bit more distance. I don't know if it's going to be her friend or not. We'll see.
Number 5, Kara's Chianti goes out for Mitch Friedman.
Adds the blinkers today after showing some forwardness last time out.
Ruben Silvera has the mount. The 6, Spirit of Esther, Manny Franco, and Ilke Cantermachi.
It's done well, got some checks, but another one who's camera shy as well in here right now, 3 to 1.
She did have a dead rail trip
Yes.
last time, but she is a horse that just doesn't seem to win. She probably is the horse to beat, though. The 7, Blue-Eyed Scout, as Dana Saul is now looking for the 2nd win today.
Yeah, same rider as well, trying to get the money here.
Coca Kaya on Tammy's Cruiser for Ilke.
Yeah, we'll see what we get with this horse. Had a couple of excuses along the way.
Long shot Jay's Love with Christopher Elliott.
Yeah, second off of the layoff for this horse. Long layoff, too.
And rounding out the field is a not impossible runner, the 10 Calling an Audible from a man, Eddie Barker with Sayin Savachi.
Yeah, we'll see what this horse can do with a little bit of drop in class, and we'll see. Some of those open races have been a little woof for me, but maybe this horse can figure from an outside draw against this group.
We'll start with the number 4 here. Has come down to 3 to 1, the second choice. And, based on the figure, the buyer figure of 62 back with Flavian Pratt, this horse is going to be tough to beat. But it's really kind of an outlying fig. And I got to tell you something, Paul. I have no excuse for this horse's bad performance last time.
Yeah, that worried me a little bit because also, this is 2 back that we're looking at, I believe, when she ran second in this spot. But for me, she just didn't look comfortable at all last time out. She ended up breaking. It was a little wide, then got wider, and then they just kind of eased up on her in the stretch. Maybe it just wasn't her day. It happens sometimes at these lower levels. Sometimes they can fall in and out of form. But we'll see what that 60 figure equates to if she can run back to it in here, because it makes her competitive in here. But the claim was voided. There's just a couple of red flags here.
I would guess the claim was probably voided because she lost by more than 25 lengths. I imagine that's the case. But, just throwing a race out, a bad race out on a horse that's a short price, to me, that's a loser's game. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but, I don't mind if I've got some horse and I can't explain why this horse ran poorly the time before, but you're getting 8 to 1.
Yeah, instead you're getting
5 to 2 right now. Do you really need 5 to 2 on this horse? I mean, I think Spirit of Esther, though she's a dicey proposition at 1 for 21, at least she's a little more reliable.
Yeah, as far as carrying her speed, and at least she's been check getting. What always bothered me about her is that I know she's camera shy, but she just didn't win here, and she's 0 for 10 over the track now. And again, granted, there are excuses, some pace setups, and
that's concerning.
So it is a little concerning for her.
Short
and she did
prices.
spend a lot of time. Yeah, and she spent a lot of time on the dead rail last time too, and she's going to carry her speed here. The question is how far is she going to carry it, and will there be any pressure for her?
Well, I think there is. I think the Blue-Eyed Scout's going to go. I mean, we saw Baez send that winner earlier today that ran so well, and I do think they could be hitting up front, and that's one of the reasons that horses like the 2 and even the 3, Neapotina, they're a little bit interesting in here because the pace should be more than honest.
I agree. And, that's the fact, Jack. For me, it was more of being stuck on the dead rail for most of that trip last time out. And then the fact that she actually made up some ground in a spot when they kind of backed up a little bit. She made up some ground and then kind of backed out again. But the drop in class helps her. And maybe today she'll get some hitting up front and she'll be able to close. I mean, she's not the most reliable horse in here. She's a little better at 5 to 1 than she was. Yeah, that's true, too. Mia Nipotina, for me, was another one. Drops a little bit, is faced some better horses at times. And
she also has, even though her recent form that's better is at Finger Lakes, she has back form where she's run well at Aqueduct, so she's shown that she's capable of running good races here in New York. She's also a 1 for 27 in this race, but she's also 15 to 1.
Right, and she's more appealing than the 2 just based on price alone, at the moment.
What about the horse in the far outside, the 10 Calling an Audible? We'll call an audible and talk about this horse. She's another one, 11 seconds and thirds, but she's one on her good days, could easily win this race.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like some of her races that were not state-bred races weren't good enough, and I don't know if it was just the competition that she was against or it just wasn't her day. With some of them, you have to go kind of far back to find better races for her against open horses in the maiden ranks anyway.
This may not be a state-bred race, but does it really matter?
Probably not in this case. Again, that's why it's hard to take a short price in this field. You know, like on a Take Me to London at 2-1 or a Spirit of Esther at 5-2.
Yeah, I think Spirit of London is just a horse or Take Me to London, excuse me. I picked her third, kind of a cop-out on my part. I don't want any part of this horse. I don't need a 2-1 shot, who I don't even know if she's necessarily as good as that 60 buyer suggests 2 races back. So even if you say, okay, I'll dismiss her last race, I'm still not sure she has to win this race.
No, and part of her issue, too, is sometimes she doesn't get out of the gate clean either. So she's going to have to do that as well in this spot. I mean, it isn't totally hurt her, but it hasn't helped her either in spots.
There's not a lot of margin for error for this lower level horses. You know, good horses sometimes overcome trouble.
Right.
Lower level horses are much less likely to do it. Right.
Yeah, fall in and out of form.
You know, we'll see. We'll see if there is a viable excuse for Take Me to London's last race, or if this is just a horse that showed that she's just not really competitive right now. We like That's the Fact, Jack. Are you a Stripes fan?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Big Stripes fan. One of my favorite movies.
Listen, you've got me to watch a lot of movies that I never watched in the past year. Well, remember we talked about, what was the one we talked about on Talking Horse? Oh, no, now, see, my mind is just not functioning.
My mind stopped functioning about 15 years ago.
I'll think about it like 5 minutes from now. It's crazy.
Waiting for the number 2, That's the Fact, Jack, to go into the gate. And I think that Dalila Rivera has actually ridden well.
Finishing much better on horses,
She's not riding, a lot of heavy favorites, that's for sure, and I think she's done a good job.
I do, too. I think she's put in the work, and I think she's finishing a lot better. It doesn't hurt you when Angel Cordero Jr. is your teacher.
Well, I agree. Obviously, Angel, one of the all-time greatest riders. There's people who tell you he is the greatest rider, and I'll tell you, the game was never as much fun when Angel retired. They're heading into the gate. Chris Griffin has the call of the 5th.
Take Me to London. Going in, Jay's Love. Next to move forward, Karis Chianti. And calling an audible. Last to load. Calling an audible. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed from That's the Fact, Jack in the pink silks, and also joining them towards the outside, Blue-Eyed Scout, and here comes Tammy's Cruiser. It's Blue-Eyed Scout, now puts a nose in front, but doesn't want the front end, is going to take back, and here comes Karis Chianti to pounce. Karis Chianti now with a neck advantage, and Tammy's Cruiser in between horses. Blue-Eyed Scout says, no, I'm going to push back on through here at the rail, and these 3 are in front. 23.87 for that opening quarter mile. Following them is Spirit of Esther and Manny Franco looking for a seam, calling an audibles out wider in 5th. Take Me to London is the Grays. In 6th position is 3 lengths in front of Vittershins. Towards the back, it's Jay's Love. That's the Fact, Jack, and Mia Nipotina is the trailer. Blue-Eyed Scout now with a nose in front. Tammy's Cruiser in between horses, 3 wide. Karis Chianti back for more. Take Me to London is now in pursuit, is in 5th, splitting rivals with At the Rail. Spirit of Esther nowhere to go yet. They approach the top of the stretch, and there's the rail opening for Spirit of Esther, who's now going to take that ground-saving journey. Tammy's Cruiser, Take Me to London, is now diving down towards the inside, calling an audible center of the racetrack. Complexion completely changes. It's calling an audible on the grandstand side. Spirit of Esther with that ground-saving journey, now with a nose advantage. These 2 shoulder to shoulder inside the final furlong. Inside the final 16th, Spirit of Esther calling an audible. Take Me to London. These 2 down to the line. It's a photo. Photo finish, calling an audible. Spirit of Esther, Take Me to London. Further back, That's the Fact, Jack and Mia Nipotina in 1 minute 27.22 seconds.
Feels like Eddie Baca and Sahin Savachi got the late nod over calling an audible. Great ride by Manny Franco and Spirit of Esther. Didn't break that sharply, but was able to slip up the fence. But calling an audible, making the wide move, gets it done by the slimmest of noses, I think. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I think coming down to the line, 6, 10, 6, 10. Ooh, that was close.
The 6 may have gotten a bit of the bob.
Yeah.
I just thought the 10 was more in front.
I think the 10 was a little bit more in front.
2 was just too far back. She just doesn't really have enough to get it done. They're showing both of them on the screen. I feel like the 10 got the money, but we don't know yet.
We'll find out. It was wild, too, how in that race that we actually had the 4 and the 6 not go out there. We saw the 5, 7, and 8 out in front after the breaks. So.
Well, the 6 didn't break as sharply. Ended up working out fairly well, but she just seems to be a horse that just can't seem to get it done. We'll find out. Seems very close. I thought the 10 got it.
I did too. It took her
And
a
the 10
yeah,
did get it.
Yeah.
10-6-4-2.
Took her a long time to get there, but she got there.
Yeah, she did. A
Looked like a
generous
little hang.
9-1 and a horse that had some credentials. Unfortunately, I boxed her with the 2. Didn't do me a lot of good, Paul.
Yeah, the 2 just, I don't think
She's
can
just not
run.
good
Yeah,
enough.
she just can't run.
She got the pace to run into. They were moving up front.
this
She just
level,
is
yeah.
too slow and just not good enough, and things played out. But calling an audible gets her second career win in her 22nd start. She had a lot of seconds and thirds, but she was able to outgame Spirit of Esther, not necessarily the toughest thing to do.
No, and it took her a while to do so down the stretch. Right here, we thought, well, she's going to hang a little bit and she's not going to go by, but she eventually plodded on by and got the job done in here. Good for Eddie Barker. Good to see him get one.
Always happy to see my man Eddie get a win here, as she was able to grind it out with a bit of a wide trip, and we clearly are dealing with a completely different racetrack today than what we had been dealing with in past weeks.
And it's good to see.
I agree.
It's absolutely good to see that we're seeing some more fairer run races.
Well,
and you know.
Take this race. The
Right.
10 never wins this race
Oh, no.
on a biased
Yeah.
racetrack, and on a fair racetrack, gets it done. A lot more to come on America's Day at the Races. Action here at the Big A, action at Oaklawn, and even a little turf paradise later today. Manny Franco coming off one hell of a week that included a 6-win day. We'll be back with more on Manny and much more on racing on America's Day at the Races. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Heading in the winner's circle, she hasn't been there that often, but calling an audible gets her second win.
Yeah, and you were right. You know, when we talked about earlier about the race, that this kind of looked like more of a state-bred race and not as tough as an open race would be. But she's had a good trip in here off of the pace and was able to make that wide move. And right here, you know, you kind of thought that the 6 coming up the inside, Spirit of Esther, had the jump on her for sure. But it took a while, but she was able to grind it out and come down the stretch and just get up there in the final strides to get the job done. So dropping class, the right pace setup in the right field today, all equaled her second lifetime win.
Able to get it done, this New York bred. And of course, the New York breds have been competing at the highest levels against opens for a long, long time. We've got some very, very good New York breds out there. Calling an audible gets it done for Eddie Barker and Saheen Zavachi, as she got there's a full nose there.
Yeah.
She got herself ahead of the 6 Spirit Aster, who finished where she seems to like to finish, and that would be second. Would take me to London running better, but still only third best. Well, as we mentioned before, one heck of a week for Manny Franco. Race number 6, he'll be riding the number 7 Looks First. Not impossible, but a bit of a bigger price than some of the ones that Manny had been riding, as we have a heavy favorite, the 2 Meg's Foxy Gray. But regardless of how he does in here, Manny Franco had that big 6-win day on Thursday, and he is riding in top form. I thought Manny picked up on the bias fairly quickly. Sometimes I think he struggles with some biases. He was on top of this one.
Yeah, and it's funny because, he does so many things right, and he rarely gets in trouble, with horses or gets in their way. And that's one of the great things about Manny. It doesn't matter if it's a $10,000 claimer or a graded stakes race. He gives you that honest ride and the best chance to win. And as you said, he did pick up. He was one of the people to pick up on it rather quickly last week.
And you look at the prices of the horses he rode. They were short prices, and tribute to Manny, but also to his agent, John Panagot. John has been they've been a great team together since John took over his book. I think Manny has really elevated his game, ridden a lot more for Chad Brown. John and Chad are very close friends, but Chad's not going to keep riding Manny if he's not winning races, and Manny's ridden very well for him. I think it's been good for his confidence, and just winning is good for your confidence, and it's great to see him riding well. Listen, all of these guys are excellent riders, but Manny, top rider in New York last year and wins, continues to look like it could be the case again this year.
Yeah, and it starts just with his preparation, and it starts with the way that he works at his craft, and it's super important, to see him out there every day, and he stays in New York, and I think that's a big deal as well, that he's able to be on the circuit full time. He knows the ins and outs of it, and he never really gets a horse in trouble that often. We don't say it too often about him.
And speaking of riders, and New York riders as well, just saw from Daily Racing Form's Dave Grenig, Dylan Davis cleared to get back on horses. He's scheduled to gallop some horses on Saturday. More action coming up. We'll head out to Oaklawn Park when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
$1,600,000 $1,600,000 $1,600,000 bid now $650,000 $1,650,000 $1,650,000 anybody else want $650,000 bid today $1,650,000 $1,600,000 thank you.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Olympiad gets the gold in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Now bid at $410,000.
There's your winner, $410,000.
$400,000.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well in one of the most beautiful farms in Kentucky. Feel like you're on hallowed ground when you're there, Megan.
You sure do. And Walker Hancock, the entire team at Claiborne, has revitalized it. They have some fantastic stallions in the works, including Mindframe. So I'm very excited to see what's in the pipeline over there at Claiborne Farm.
Well, we got the horses getting ready for the post braid here. Race 5, and we'll start with the former Jerome winner, third place finisher in the Remsen, in drum roll, please.
I love this horse, and while he is co-favored right now, it's kind of tepid there. It's a competitive group. I think that he has just been ultra consistent there on the synthetic, coming off a bit of a layoff.
And he gets a good inside draw. The 2, Italian Symphony.
A long time without a win. We'll see. He achieved one back in 2024. He's been, or excuse me, his last win before his last win here at Oaklawn Park on December the 19th looks to build off of that.
Rocket Sanders stretching back out.
I really hope this horse can get more forwardly placed doing so. That's the key.
In a race that doesn't have a lot of speed, Speightster Red, he also doesn't have much speed.
That's the drawback to him. He is a sure out-and-out closer.
You get Ramon Vasquez with the hot hand on the 5, Sound of Victory.
Yeah, getting the drop in class, but 0 for 3 at Oaklawn Park. We'll see if he can give that magic a touch.
Swiss Guard, I think he gets loose here.
He gets loose. He had a wide post last time out, cleared the field, got over early. He has a much easier way of going in this race.
This is 7, Rabbit Hound with Walter de la Cruz.
This horse should be right there forwardly placed, giving some pressure on that early pace to the number 6.
Steve Asmussen's Underdressed.
Back on dirt. First started Oaklawn Park and a closer as well.
And the 9, Hess, stretching back out from not the greatest draw, but you get Keith Asmussen.
Arkansas bred, and as you mentioned, not the greatest draw, but I like him stretching back out in distance. Had a decent speed figure 2 back in a strong group. We'll see if he can be a little bit more tactical. Hasn't shown that as of late.
And it's kind of an interesting, condition here, right? Our starter allowance for horses which have not run, or which have started, for a claiming price of $10,000 or less. And so a lot of these horses got eligible when they dropped down to a lower level.
Right. These are, to me, the toughest races to handicap at Oaklawn Park. Out and out. They can attract so many different kinds, and while I do land on the number 1, drum roll please, I think that he is just one of those that's always so consistent. He kind of went off form thereafter, coming back off of course, some really strong Jerome, and I mean this guy was 3rd behind the likes of Dornock and Sierra Leone, and while he's obviously a different customer, the number 1, drum roll please, I think that he is freshened off the layoff. It's his first start here at Oaklawn Park. He was last out, he was kind of wider there. As we take a look at the number 6 Swiss Guard, who, as you mentioned, he's going to be loose on the lead, Richie.
Doesn't it feel like he's just the main and controlling speed? And when he gets loose, that's when he's his most effective.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned in the post parade, he drew the widest of 12 last time out there. Here at Oaklawn Park, gets back to the mile and... gets back to the mile here, and he's going to have a much easier way of getting to the front end. I think he fits very nicely amongst this group.
I like that effort, too, because when he was collared by Cooperin, a lot of horses will cave in. He fought him all the way down to the wire, and I like when a horse shows that kind of grit and determination.
He does, and Cooperin came back to run 4th in an allowance, so, I mean, you're definitely not getting the 41-1 that you did on the number 6 the last time, but he gets Jaime Torres right back aboard, and I think he's going to be tough right back here on the front end, and he looks great out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing on the track. He is my top selection. When I look at races, I still kind of handicap from a jockey's perspective. Who would I want to ride? How do I think the race is going to shape up? And he's the one that I'd want to ride because I'd bounce him out, put him on the lead, and try to control things.
Yeah, as far as the number 8, Underdressed, he is a closer, but I'm interested to see, as you mentioned, I didn't find there was a ton of pace on board, but 2 back, he's just been super consistent at other tracks as he gets to Oaklawn Park for the first time. I always wonder how they're going to take to Oaklawn Park for the first time.
Well, it is a little different. Every track's just a little bit different. Some horses really relish it. Some it means nothing. They'll run over any kind of ground. But I like when I see a horse that has a certain affinity for a particular surface.
Yeah, I mean, 2 back, he scratched that on the turf for the number 8 Underdressed. Then you go 2 back to Houston at 7 furlongs where he trailed, he was on the inside, and then he split horses. He was incredibly game and, in my opinion, unlucky to lose to that foe in Love Pack, who regressed in Beyer speed figure, but he was just kind of that now horse there at the time at Sam Houston. So I thought he's very interesting. You're getting 6-1 on him, and I feel like there's been a couple of these Steve Asmussen runners on this card that have been a bit of some overlays. We will see, but I do think that he is against the flow of the race.
And just something to point out for everybody at home, the 1 mile races here at Oaklawn Park, obviously a 2-turn race, begin and end at the 16th pole. There are 2 distinct wires here. So when you see riders start to kind of get involved, maybe what you would think a little bit earlier, just remember it's 110 yards shorter the run to the first wire.
I've heard you discuss this about how sometimes riders can maybe overcompensate, perhaps moving too early around that turn to try to gauge their distance and maybe doing it a little bit too early.
Yeah, I think some guys, it gets into their head a little too much. You got to be aware of it, but I think you also just have to be careful not to pull the trigger too soon. For me, on a closer, you don't want to go after horses when they're still fresh. You want them to come back to you a little bit when you're making your run, because your horse is working harder to collar horses that are still fresh.
Have you ever misjudged a finish line before?
Right here at Oaklawn Park in the Arkansas Derby.
No.
I finished 4th. I wasn't going to be anything but 4th, and it was so quick. I stood up for half a stride and realized it wasn't the finish yet, bounced right back down onto the side. Nobody picked it up.
I mean, that's what matters.
I might get a letter now from the stewards fining me from 20 years ago.
That's funny.
Well, the horses are at the starting gate and starting to load up. Very efficient gate crew here at Oaklawn Park. Very fortunate to have such a good crew like we do in New York as well. And we'll send it up to the roof to Matt Dinnerman for the call of this 1 mile event.
Rocket Sanders coming up and Rabbit Hound. Speightster Red, post 4. Underdressed. And to the outside, Hess to round out the field. We're ready to go. And they're off. From post 5, Sound of Victory drifting in is going to take back. Swiss Guard immediately on the lead. The Gray Rabbit Hound taking 2nd. Italian Symphony 3rd. Not going all that fast early. Underdressed in the 4th position. Drumroll please getting off the rail to the 2-path as they charge into the turn. Sound of Victory right behind with Hess, who's alongside on the outside. Rocket Sanders, he's 2nd to last. And Speightster Red at the back. The pacemaker Swiss Guard going nice and easy. That first quarter, 24 seconds flat. So it's Swiss Guard with everything his own way, clearing off by 2 now. Rabbit Hound has conceded the lead. He's 2nd. Italian Symphony to the inside. Gap of 2. Drumroll please. Underdressed. Hess is on the outside of horses. He's 7 behind with Rocket Sanders. And the 2 at the back, Speightster Red, Sound of Victory as they're halfway home. Remember, this race will end at the 16th pole. It's still on the lead. Swiss Guard went 47-3 for the half. So absolutely no excuses for Swiss Guard as he goes into the far turn, a length in front of Rabbit Hound, who's gotten a lot closer, turning up the pressure. Rabbit Hound as they round the far turn here. There's a gap of 2 to Drumroll please, sent along from 3rd, but is right there towards the lead now. Another 3 lengths back. Sound of Victory trying to run on, but has a lot of work to do. Rocket Sanders and Italian Symphony as they come to the top of the lane. Swiss Guard trying to repel Rabbit Hound. Right behind the leaders is Rocket Sanders searching for a way out of traffic. Swiss Guard off the turn with Rabbit Hound. They are together. Outside it's Underdressed. Underdressed is coming with a surge, and Hess on the grandstand side farther out, lunging late, but Underdressed has got the lead. Underdressed close to the line has got it. Underdressed gets it by 2. Hess was 2nd, and then Italian Symphony and Rocket Sanders.
Well, it was the 8, Underdressed. Eric Asmussen riding in such good form for his dad, Steve Asmussen. You could see his confidence level is so high. He timed his run to perfection.
He really did. Closing down on what was not a fast pace there early, set by the 6 Swiss Guard, who just could not hold off the swarm of late charge, but underdressed, not overdressed, was best in here, and he was incredibly game. Scratch that turf effort. He was coming in on the right kind of form for Steve and Eric Asmussen.
And 2nd, it appeared to be the 9 Hess with Keith Asmussen, not riding for his father, but rounding out the all Asmussen exactly.
Remember when we said closers were not what you wanted in this group? Seemingly they dominated in this race. So this is certainly a fair racetrack. You can run from anywhere and get it done.
Yeah, the horses up on the pace really didn't have any visible excuses. They got to set a fairly controlled pace, particularly here for Oaklawn Park, where you don't see too many slow paces, but a place that sometimes you do catch some slow paces. Aqueduct. Let's head back to Andy and Paul.
Thanks, Richie. Heading back here to Aqueduct, and a nice finish there by that horse, Eric Asmussen, getting it done. That horse actually equi-talented on turf and dirt, kind of an unusual runner who's done some good racing on both of the surfaces. 3 wins now in dirt, 4 on turf. Heavy favorite here in the 2, Meg's Foxy Gray. She's not getting the bias we had last week, but she is very much the one to beat, but also to catch on the front end.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, you would think as long as she breaks well, she should be in front here and comfortable. Her figures say she is running the best races and the best horse in the race, and all 3 of her starts really for Michelle Nevin have been solid.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that she was disqualified from purse money 2 back.
Yeah.
But then she came back in her next start, a race she was not disqualified from, and ran a very similar race, a race that was dominated up front. But Sandy's Garden ran a big race that day, and she ran well to be second to her, and ran a race that probably wins here.
I would think so. I mean, Sandy's Garden's a 7-time winner, I think. So, I mean, it's a pretty established horse that has good form. So, and it's not like she ran badly in that spot, chasing her around the track.
I bet her in one of her 3 starts for Michelle. That's when she ran second at 11-1. Not that I'm bitter about it. The one is Brunch with Amy, who figures to be the second choice going out for Linda Rice and Kendrick.
Yeah, needs a better break in here, but ran okay against Sassy Princess, who's a good horse.
Once again, the favorite, Meg's Foxy Gray. Flavian Pratt back in town.
Yeah, and hopefully Flavian will have this horse on the front end, and she'll be tough.
He's 20 for 64 at the meet. That's a pretty good record, I think. The number 3, Princess Nye, also going out for Linda Rice. A little bit bigger price.
Yeah, got the job done last time. Wasn't an overly super fast pace, but was able to win in that spot.
Howling Wind, who justifiably scratched out of a tough spot. I'm a little interested in this horse, not as a winner necessarily, but a horse who can get a piece, Racing Colors.
It's an interesting horse because technically this is a drop for this horse, and she's got some decent races.
Not just technically, actually it is. And she's a consistent runner who's too big a price. Saucy 6, another long shot.
Yeah, just doesn't like to win this horse.
Yes, and the 7 looks first in good form off the claim for Horacio de Paz.
Yeah, dropping class woke her up. She's going to have to be at her best in this spot, but she can make a little noise in here at a price.
Yeah, I agree. She's been in reasonably good form in here, but they do all have to catch the number 2.
I mean, when you look at this race and you kind of look around, I mean, really, she's supposed to be gone in here. You know, Howling Wind may have been a horse, even though it was over her head, that had some speed. Maybe not as much as Meg's Foxy Gray. I'm not saying that. But at least there was a horse that would have been kind of close. But now...
I promise Paul has not been drinking before he came on the air.
No, I didn't mean that she was going to be pressed with the pace, but I'm just saying there might have been a horse within range of her early on.
She is the controlling speed.
Absolutely.
With a clean break, she's going to be in front, and she's in good form. And unless for some reason you don't feel confident she's going to run a race, she's a pretty likely winner here, Paul.
I would think so, just based on figures alone and the advantage she has from a pace standpoint.
Yeah, no, I just think she's the horse to beat, but a lot of money right now for the horse on the rail going out for Linda Rice. Brunch with Amy. I'm surprised that she's taking quite as much, but I guess there aren't that many other options.
I guess when you look at the race, she's the horse that probably makes the most sense from a second choice perspective. Last time out, she got away a little bit slow. That was a better field, too. I mean, Sassy Princess has been running well and has been in good form, and she was able to kind of close in this spot and be able to get within a half a length of her. So putting aside Meg's Foxy Gray, out of this race, this is an easier spot for her other than just the horse that's outside of her.
No, I agree. She is the second likeliest winner in here, and I have no issue against her. I just surprised she's this close, but she can certainly win in here, and these are the two horses to beat. Looks First has been beating lessers than these.
Yeah.
But she's been running respectable figures, and it doesn't hurt to be claimed by Horacio de Paz, who has fair numbers off the claim.
And I think for her, it was more of a wake-up call for her. Those races get her a little more confidence, now that she's won 2 races in a row, and she's done them well. There was no real moments where you thought she was not going to get the job done there once she made the top. So the drop in class got her going again, got her going in the right direction. Now off the claim, they bring her back up in class. You see what she can do from an outside post in here. And listen, 5-1 in here. She's not a bad bet for a horse who's in form. She's just now got to be her best in this spot if Meg's Foxy Gray shows up.
Let's talk about my long shot, Racing Colors. Not much of a winning type. She's better for third mostly. No speed at all, which doesn't necessarily help her. But boy, is she run against better horses.
Yeah, you look up and down at who she's been against. Collect data, oversubscribed, awesome checks at her moments. Just going down the list, even the horses that run second that have come back and won. Walk With Me and Glint and Grammy Girl and all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you. I think she's got to look at a price underneath for sure, especially if you think that, this race is going to fall apart behind Meg's Foxy Gray. But, I mean, and it's a drop in class for her. So we'll see what we get out of her. The problem is she's just going to be really far behind early on. So you just got to hope she just picks up her heels later on in the race down the stretch. But, yeah, the 1 for 30 record at Aqueduct's a little tough, but again, it's been against tougher, and in spots. And in some races, she's had no chance. Even those races on the grass, too, she's had no chance. So this is not a bad spot for her and a drop in class.
Yeah, I think she's a little bit interesting at a price near. I don't love her chances. I'm more interested in trying to get like a 2-5 home here, or maybe a 2 with 1-7 with 5 try, something like that. But I think she's a horse that's better than her current 19-1 suggests.
Yeah, and I mean, even you take a look at a horse like the 3 in this spot as well. I think there's better value with the 5 than there is with the 3, because to me, the 3's last race wasn't super fast. It wasn't great. I mean, she got a 71 figure for it, but really, I mean, does she look like a horse that's going to actually improve off of that effort?
No.
Yeah.
I don't really like the 3, but she's 8-1 if you like her. So if you like her, you should play her. I mean, I'm not knocking her. I just prefer other horses. But there's no doubt that the horse to beat is the number 2.
Yeah. So and I don't think it matters with a fair track either with her, because she's got enough speed and enough talent to carry it.
I do not disagree. Try to get the 5 into the exacta, but there is little doubt the 3-5 favorite in here is the one to beat. Meg's Foxy Gray, Flavien Prat riding for Michelle Nevin. We'll see what happens in the 6th. Chris Griffin has the call.
2 out. Saucy 6 looks first. Last to low. Looks first. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Looks first. Bounced out of the gate well, but quicker in between horses. Princess Nye. Princess Nye right out to the front is now up by a full length. Here comes Meg's Foxy Gray. Wants to be forwardly placed. Splits rivals easily. Is now stalking from second. Out wide of theirs. Looks first and third. Back behind them is Brunch with Amy. It's a comfortable 4th. Now Keen tugging here at Kendrick Harmouche, wants to move forward. 4 lengths in front of the 2 trailers. That's Racing Colors with Saucy 6. 23.61 for the opening quarter mile. The leader is Princess Nye, is up by a half length. Less than 4 furlongs to go. Meg's Foxy Gray is in full pursuit and now ranging up on this leader. Looks first has been wide, but is right there in third. A close-up 4th is Brunch with Amy. Racing Colors is on the move from the back, is now in 5th and moving forward with momentum, and the trailer, it's Saucy 6. They're approaching a quarter mile left to go. The leader is Princess Nye, looking for room. Brunch with Amy, nowhere to go, bottled up in behind rivals. Meg's Foxy Gray is called upon for the effort. Down the center of the racetrack comes Racing Colors, 47.68 half-mile time, and Racing Colors at a big number. Brunch with Amy down at the rail, and now Brunch with Amy is cut loose. Racing Colors in full pursuit, center of the racetrack, but it's Brunch with Amy in that ground-saving journey, up by a length and a half, almost 2. Brunch with Amy, Kendrick with his 3rd on the day. Brunch with Amy wins it. Racing Colors, then came Meg's Foxy Gray and looks first in 1 minute 25.53 seconds.
I mean, you cannot get a better trip than this horse got. An absolutely perfect ride from Kendrick. The 2 didn't break. She had to stalk. She's most comfortable on the front end. The other Linda Rice horse set the pace. I mean, because the 2 got left, and this horse just sat chilly on the rail and got it done with a little decent enough performance from my 5 getting second, Paul.
Yeah, for sure. And, at this point here, you're saying, okay, the 5's got the jump on the 1, but Kendrick just had a lap full of horse. It was just a matter of where and when the hole was going to open up. And it did open up down on the inside on the rail, and he was able to go through with Brunch with Amy. But I really thought Racing Colors ran a very good race and had a ton of momentum, going into the turn in the top of the stretch, and just couldn't sustain from a horse who got a much better ground-saving trip than she got in this spot. So kudos to Brunch with Amy, and Meg's Foxy Gray did get left a bit at the start and just never could make the top in there. So no real excuse other than...
I mean, she got left and she didn't make the lead, but she's 3-5.
Yes.
And you're 3-5. You're supposed to be good enough to overcome breaking the length slow in this race, and she's probably not quite as good without the lead. But this was a bit of a disappointing performance by her, and good trip or not, the 1 was best.
Yeah, without a doubt, and the break was a little bit better today as well. for brunch with Amy, and I think that helped. And listen, we talked about Fields and who they ran against. Sassy Princess has been running well, so I think she came out of a good race and was able to make up ground in there. And today, the perfect trip just worked out, and a great ride by Kendrick got his third today.
Absolutely. 1-5-2 in this race. And Racing Colors, she was just way too big a price. I mean, she consistently runs numbers faster than the 7-horse, who is 6-1. A lot more to come on America's Day at the Races. 2 more here, 4 more at Oaklawn, and 2 at Turf Paradise. We'll be right back. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. A nice shot there from Staten Island. Staten Island Ferry, good to see it back in action. It had to because there's so much ice in the water. It actually didn't run for, I think, over a week. It's a fun ride, which I'm sure you've taken.
Yes, I have.
Down to a nice shot of down to Lower Manhattan. Spent a lot of my life working down in Lower Manhattan. Now I must never go there, Paul.
Yeah, it's like
I go through it in the subways.
Yeah, it's
like
you've had your fill of it, so it's like you've had enough. It's like I've been there, done that.
It's not that there's just not that much going on down there.
Anymore,
There's a couple of good restaurants. I miss Augustine. I used to like. It's closed. And there's the winner. Brunch with Amy heading into the winner's circle. Kendrick Carmouche for Linda Rice, who is apparently still not here. I know she had been down in Ocala. She's got horses everywhere. Just an absolutely perfect trip. And, Kendrick was patient. He waited. He knew he had horse, and he just assumed, I'll find a seam. And he did.
And the good thing was he actually waited. His patience was his best part of that race, because had he tried to go out, the 7 was still there. The 2 was kind of backing up. So just waited, had enough horse, got through the rail. Mick says a lot to you, make that move, and you get through. You are the greatest, and you do it. If you don't, you end up being the GOAT.
You do get through, though. And it makes me think of Ramon Dominguez. Ramon Dominguez was a rider.
Great at that.
Not only was he a great rider, but one of the reasons he was a great rider is he never panicked.
Yep.
Never panicked. Didn't worry. He knew the stretch was a long run. He knew if he had the horse, he took his chance to get through, and you almost never saw him get stopped.
He was another guy that very rarely got horses into trouble. if ever.
Like Joel Rosario, who always a cool customer.
He'll give you a heart attack.
But he doesn't steady. He doesn't panic.
Yeah.
And he gets through.
Yeah.
Impressive riders, obviously, but a nice ride there from Kendrick to get it done on the second choice. Race number 7 coming up. Thought it was somewhat competitive. I mean, a little surprised no money for Burnin' Hunk of Love. And I'm looking at the doubles, and Play is actually favored in the doubles. But hey, David Aragona, the morning line maker, had Play the favorite. He's usually right, and appears based in the doubles, he's going to be right again.
Yeah, we'll find out. As more money comes in this spot. I kind of went off the reservation a little bit in this race with Roar of the Crowd.
Well, we'll find out more of why you like Roar of the Crowd, who should be a decent price near an excellent Rice. As, everybody wants to talk Derby, 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 and, you think it's a long way away. The reality is it's just over 2 months away, and the preps are going to start to get a lot more serious as we head towards the Kentucky Derby.
It's funny that you say that because we talk about right after Breeders' Cup, we're like, yeah, December's coming. We'll start to talk a little bit about the Derby picture, and then it just rushes up on you. And it's fun, when we get to this point, because you get to see who's improving, who's playing catch-up to the horses that were so good, last month or even back in November and December in the late 2-year-old races.
Well, I'm not sure there's anybody in that list that's been so good.
No, I agree.
But, and the points at this point are meaningless.
Right.
I mean, obviously Paladin's in the Derby.
Yes.
But, because we've only run one 50-point race.
Yeah.
These numbers are going to change dramatically, even after the next round, which aren't even the biggest round. So there's plenty of time left if you have a horse that doesn't have points or has minor points. I'm not a guy who ever has a Derby horse. I think you marry yourself to a horse in February, to what end? You know what I mean?
It's tough, yeah.
And this year, don't you want to keep an open mind? Because even though I think Paladin, Nearly, Renegade seem like the top 3 right now, none of them are that good that somebody couldn't easily supplant them with a big performance.
Correct. I agree. And it's funny when people get married to even betting future pools and everything, because that's just another story too. But looking at a horse like Paladin, for me, the positives for him is that he's just got this natural swagger and talent about him when he runs, and he doesn't get heady with you. He doesn't get keen. He puts himself in good spots. He's kind of got a mind that's a little bit more mature and in the game. He's already passed distance tests. He's got good tactical speed. So for me, he's a little bit above, the class when you're looking at things in perspective with the rest of the group. Not somebody I'm married to yet, but somebody that's...
His tactical speed certainly puts him in good position. He's obviously talented. He ran fine in here and got it done. Race camp with a 93 buyer. I think both he and Renegade, if you put a gun to my head, they're my top 2 horses for the Derby right now. But to me, that doesn't mean anything. I think Nearly is right up there as well. I've been impressed with him. But these 2 horses who ran 1-2 in the Remsen, finished 2-1 in a maiden race. Renegade was disqualified. Close finish, however you feel about it. They both ran very well. And he came out in his 3-year-old debut and did what he had to do, much like Paladin.
Right, and he was able to do it with a little bit of a pace that was a little bit softer as well in this spot.
And a field that was kind of soft too, though.
I agree. It was definitely not the best field that we've ever seen for that race, for sure. But at least he did it nicely, and he was able to get the job done in that spot. And at least he ran well for me in the stretch once he took the lead. But again, as you said, and I've said as well, it's just hard to marry yourself to someone right now. It's more about seeing what next month holds.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
curious
into
to
April
see.
as well.
Nearly's not running in the Fountain of Youth. He's not running until the Florida Derby.
Right.
Curious to see what he does. He's running a lot of races at Gulfstream, which I personally don't love. I think that's a tough spot to run 4 races over the course of the winter. He's obviously talented, but things could change dramatically. I think Paladin closed at like 7-1 in the Derby pool. To me, that's lunacy, because even if he wins the Bluegrass, his next start, he's going to be 3-1 in the Derby. So why are you taking 7-1 now? What if he gets hurt? What if he doesn't win the Bluegrass? I think if you're betting futures, you take big prices. Lot more to come, lots more to talk about. As far as the Derby and other things, we'll be back on America's Day at the Races.
bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We're only about 4 minutes out to race 6, but we're going to have a post parade on tape. And this is a pretty good maiden, auction maiden for horses that sold for $75,000 or less at auction.
You know, for Thursday card, we've got this race. We had a really strong maiden group back in race number 3. So this is a really complete card from top to bottom, Mig.
Yeah, and we're going to start right out with the one horse, Fresh Out, who's started twice, but both times on turf.
And this filly has much more of a dirt pedigree. Her dam was 2 for 5 as a dirt sprinter.
And she was also a stakes winner, restricted in Louisiana, though. The 3, first-time starter, Hallowed Hall.
Yeah, 0 for 3 for those 3-year-old first-time starters. The Kelly Bainham barn. We'll see if this Louisiana bred can take a step in the right direction on debut.
The 4, Sissy Sox, turning back.
She is just completely folded, going longer. We'll see if she responds to the cutback, but I don't know.
Another firster in the 5, Blondie's in charge.
Imagine maybe we'll show some speed, just judging from her works.
6, Don't Think Twice, not taking any money here.
Honestly, a deep female family. Dan was 3 for 4, sprinting was second in the Grade 2 Gallant Bloom.
7, Nuts and Bolts.
Honestly, the sire kind of throws turf and dirt, and her dam was kind of grassy, so we'll see how she responds to this first try on the dirt.
Major player in Army's Marauder, the 8.
Wow, I loved the 8 on debut, hoping she can take a step forward off that strong performance.
Another horse that's a major player, the 2 races she got to finish, Mighty Nora on the outside with Keith Asmussen.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate incident. This was actually, Mig, the horse that clipped heels and lost Keith Asmussen, where he suffered a pelvic fracture on the right side, which took him away from the racetrack there for a few months, but he's back aboard. Always, I was kind of asking you off camera, the mental, what goes on mentally when you get back aboard a horse that you kind of had that unfortunate incident with.
You know, as a rider, you got to put that stuff out of your head and treat it like it never happened. I had an agent once, Joe Shea, great agent, had been Ron Turcotte's agent, refused to ride Creme de la Fête back after I had a fall on him in Saratoga. I eventually got back on him, but his next start, he said, I just don't feel good about it. So he made that choice. But as a rider, you got to put that stuff behind you.
I feel like that's just the frame of life, right? Anything that happens to you gets you down. Got to get back up. But as soon as the number 8 Army's Marauder came back on into this race, I was really excited to see her. She was my paddock pick when she debuted there behind a really solid Dallas Stewart horse in You're in Heaven. Her dam actually violated, her second dam, Kadira, was a stakes winner sprinting. And you know, Meg, she kind of just looks like an Army mule. She's really round, compact, burly type, just really an out-and-out sprinter. And last time out, just ran a really solid debut race there. And I'm really interested to see her take another step forward. She looks fantastic on the racetrack yet again.
Yeah, making a really nice impression. And you look for that, a second-time starter. How did they react to the race? Did it kind of shake them up? Are they nervous about it? She looks as settled as a horse can be.
She was 4 wide, rallying for second again, kind of closing, a bit of a futile. But I mean, I still love when horses are able to rally and extend and learn something on debut. She sat behind horses, she took kickback. It's really what you want to see, and hopefully she can take another step forward with Christian Torres. Really the hot hand of anybody here this meet.
Christian riding in career form. You could see his confidence level just brimming over. The 9, Mighty Nora, has kind of ticked over to favoritism now at 2-1, slight favoritism. Her 2 races early, in September and then October, you got to remember, those were 2-year-old efforts. So she got a 55 and a 58 buyer. You would expect improvement now as she is a 3-year-old.
And 2 back there on October the 10th, where she ran second behind Camilla Caitlin, who was a next out winner with a 71 buyer speed figure and a starter allowance in her next try. So she was running against some solid foes. But as far as she's concerned, she's also kind of that tracker from the outside, and she also gets Lasix for the first time as a 3-year-old. Interested to see if that also has a positive effect on her.
Dallas Stewart having a really nice run here at Oaklawn Park.
He is.
And for a horse that, did have a fall, I think it's good for her that she's outside, because sometimes they can be a little shy and they need a little time to get over it.
Yeah, you don't have to be clustered up between horses, create her own trip, be able to kind of hopefully build off of that. But I will say this, I believe it was with Schoolyard Superman when he went down back at Aqueduct, kind of learning from trainers as far as trying to bring them back off of that kind of effect. It takes patience, it takes time, and it can sometimes kind of rattle them, maybe regress. So we'll see if she can come back. She is taking favoritism today, but what kind of drew me away from her, I want to see her coming off of the layoff. She has been working well. I want to see if that negative experience, maybe she needs to take a second to get her feet about her race riding.
Yeah, again, I think the outside post aids in that. A horse that you talked about and I thought was kind of interesting, the 1, Fresh Out. Her 2 turf races, I think, leave more to be desired, but she has much more of a dirt pedigree. And, the fact that even her sire, Volatile, he gets about 8% with his turf runners, but 15% with his dirt sprint runners.
Which confused me that they tried her on turf, both short and long. So I guess they really wanted to kind of make her on the turf. I haven't been able to see her up close and personal, but on paper, she's much more of a dirt horse. I do like that she's getting to the 6 furlongs. I think 5.5 was a bit it's always sharp to go 5.5 on debut. And as far as Kenny McPeak with maidens, turf to dirt, he is 27% in doing so. And I know you'll see that first effort, maybe think, yeah, she ran 7th. She did some running in there. She trailed, she was keen, kind of green, and did run on late.
And there's one first-time starter. There's several here, but one taking money, and that's the 5, Blondie's in Charge. Sometimes the money kind of points out that they've been, looking good and kind of impressing somewhat in practice in their morning trials, but they're loading up. We're almost ready for the starter, race 6. Here's Matt Dinnerman with the call.
Blondie's in Charge, and Mighty Nora to the outside. Waiting for Mighty Nora. We're ready to go. And we're off. Slow break from Army's Marauder. Hallowed Hall, the first-time starter, showing a lot of speed in the first lifetime start. Has the lead early from Sissy Socks chasing on her tail. She's in the 2nd spot. Blondie's in Charge makes her way into 3rd, while Keen nuts and bolts to her outside. And Mighty Nora, who's deeper on the course. Army's Marauder is next in the group with Fresh Out and Don't Think Twice is well out of it. With a half mile to go here, Hallowed Hall on the lead, 3 parts of a length. Sissy Socks, Shown Moraine in 2nd to keep pace, rounding the turn. Blondie's in Charge is 3rd, 3 wide, trying to get closer now. Army's Marauder after the slow break is in 4th with Fresh Out, who's in an all-out drive. 4 lengths back to Mighty Nora, trying to pick up the pace from midfield, passing Nuts and Bolts as they come to the top of the stretch. Hallowed Hall still on the lead. Sissy Socks in 2nd. Blondie's in Charge, under pressure, feels the stick as they come off the turn. Hallowed Hall's getting away. Hallowed Hall down the stretch, opening up a 2-length lead. Army's Marauder up the inside, fighting. Mighty Nora on the extreme outside. Both of them, though, are battling for minor placing. 16th to go. It's Hallowed Hall, ready to go by Independence Hall. It's Hallowed Hall. The Louisiana bred gets it over Mighty Nora, Army's Marauder, and Blondie's in Charge.
Well, it was a first-time starter, not the one taking the money. It was the 3, Hallowed Hall, under the hot riding Ramon Vasquez. She is a half to Powdered Sugar, who was a late Louisiana-bred stakes winner. But, boy, she looked really professional on debut, Megan.
She did. She was sharp out of the gate, and she was also working well here at Oaklawn Park. That gate work back on February the 13th traveled well. She also broke sharp from the gate that day, so I was kind of expecting to see her be sharp here, and that's exactly what she did. Got to the front end, Lasix on debut, and I will say she is by Independence Hall, Meg. They have not been firing first time out, just overall in general. But the 3-year-olds have kind of been, as they turn 3, have been gaining momentum. But Kelly Bainham, the first-time starter win in the past 5 years. So pretty impressive. Yeah,
won quite decisively as well. The 2 outside runners ran 2nd and 3rd. The 9 Mighty NYRA rallied nicely under Keith Asmussen, and then Army's Murata just 3rd best. But no doubt about it, this first-time starter was very, very well meant.
Well meant, has a future, looks like a sprinter. I'm hoping to maybe see her take on maybe allowance foes in her next try.
Well, good effort there. We'll send it back up to New York, guys. You got 2 more to go. I think we got 3 more to go after this one. Send it back to Andy and Paul.
Thanks, Richie. A little money for that horse. A Louisiana bred for a trainer that was 1 for 32. That horse could have been 50 to 1. You wouldn't have noticed 9 to 1 and won like 9 to 5 or maybe 2 to 5.
Sold for $70,000. So I mean, they paid up a little bit for this horse. It's not like they sold for $4,000 or $5,000 because I think there's a horse in there that was only for $4,000. So
and it wasn't a whole lot of pedigree as far as I could see to go on. So it's not like as Meg mentioned, an Independence All.
But did show speed out of the gate and just took them on a merry chase and opened up in the stretch.
Decent second dam, but more of a turf horse, to be honest with you. As we've got 2 races to go here in New York, and race number 7. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because right now you've got a 4 to 1, 2 9 to 2s, and a 5 to 1 in this race. I'm surprised, and I'm surprised. I guess Great Richie M, not impossible. No definitive favorite in this race, Paul, as they're getting ready to head out of the paddock. I know you're a little interested in a long shot that I didn't get at all, the 5 Roar of the Crowd.
Yeah, I just kind of feel with this horse before the layoff, it was a horse that was kind of rounding into career form, had faced some decent horses as well along the way. There's a little bit of dirt pedigree there with Upraw as well, and 4 of the siblings had won on dirt before. 1 was a stakes winner as well on dirt.
It's not really a dirt pedigree, though, to be fair.
There's some in there. There's a little bit, a hint. A smattering.
It's for me. The price?
Well, yeah, the price was part of it. It was 50% the price. The other half is, Devin Gitt's horses have run okay here. He hasn't won yet, but they've run okay in spots. So trying it the first winter here, hoping to get a first win.
That would be a big price here as they're getting ready to go to the racetrack. And we've got Play, who looks like the favorite, but it's Flavian Pratt. That's probably why David made the horse the favorite. That horse is currently 5 to 1. As the number 1, Shoot the Nickel, who's been in good form, is hitting the racetrack. Ilke Cantermachi, and a rider change to Manny Franco.
Yeah, listen, on the rising class, that was a good effort last time for this horse, and one like he was supposed to 2 starts back as well.
I feel like this horse is just a little pop. I think this horse was 7 to 1 when we first started talking about the race. Play, another one for Ilke, this one with Flavian Pratt.
He was behind runners last time, which he's not used to being, so today with a better break, he should be more forward, you would think.
Yeah, he's not as fast as the 2 outside of him. I think this one's the speed, the 3, Burnin' Hunk of Love for Fernando Abreu.
I thought he ran well. He dueled last time and just got ran down late. Even the start against Apollo Code last time
I'm
was
surprised
good.
He's this price. The 4 is 10 Cent Town, who should be stalking him for Mike Maselli.
I would think so. 3rd off of the layoff today has a big number, 2 starts back.
Your pick, Roar of the Crowd, goes out for Jose Gomez.
We'll see what this horse can do on dirt. Was in very good form before the layoff.
I saw Jose in the hall today. Maybe that's a good omen for your horse. Dana Saul looking for his second winner, her second winner today with Scoot Daddy.
Be interesting to see what this horse also does for a start back since November.
Jose Baez also won that race. They're a team. The number 7, Shooter's Gotta Shoot.
Was in a good spot last time, just really had nothing. Now had a little bit of a break and a trainer switch. New face in this group.
Little bit on the slow side, I thought, in this race. And the 8, Great Richie M, same trainer off the claim from Linda Rice.
Interesting horse in here because this is a horse who probably needed to start off the layoff, spent some time on that dead rail last time out as well. Now draws outside in here. Maybe Ricardo Santana gets him a little bit more in the game, too.
Yeah, got off the rail, around the 5/16 pole and moved outside. And that race just completely fell apart. So I wasn't enamored, but obviously there's people that disagree, is taking some money at 5 to 1 and what's a wide open board right now. I mean, with a clean break, though, isn't Burnin' Hunk of Love supposed to try to lead these on a merry chase?
You would think, and that poses a problem for the horse inside Play, and maybe that's why Play's not taking as much money as Play may take, even though
you seem to think Play has more speed than he does.
I think he does. I mean, I think he can be up there. He may not be as fast, but he can make life a little bit miserable for Burnin' Hunk of Love, possibly depending on the break. And I mean, Burnin' Hunk of Love, to me, is the better horse just based on the last 2 races because of the way that he's, gone after the leaders.
but I thought he ran well in this race, Paul.
Yeah.
He was towards the inside. He drifted the stretch. He got beaten by a horse that came from the clouds as he easily held off anybody else near the front end. And I just don't see this pace being particularly hot. Now, maybe you're right that Flavien will come out running on the 2, and maybe that complicates things, but I thought he was supposed to be in front.
He's supposed to be, and maybe his odds will come down, and ultimately he will be the favorite in here, because even 2 starts back against Apollo Code, he chased him around and had to come wide and rallied when speed was good and Apollo Code was inside. So, he's got a little bit of an excuse to look to him just based on those races, but he's a game horse. And listen, if he breaks running, they're going to have to run. Play's going to have to go with him. Somebody's going to have to run.
Speaking of play, well, I think 10 Cent Town is the one likeliest to be on his flank. His play, a little disappointing last time off the claim for Ilke Cantermachi.
1 for 7, too, over the track kind of bothers me a little bit. But he's run fast enough races to be able to compete in a spot like this. I just think he was in a spot he's not used to last time out, and that was ending up kind of behind of horses, too. So we'll see what we get.
Do you also think it's possible he's a horse that does like a wet track? And for a horse that has done probably his best running at Finger Lakes, maybe he ran a little better than it looks because the track was wet last time?
It's fair. That's fair. And he's gotten better when he's been at Finger Lakes, for the most part as well. So that's a fair assumption to make, because when you go down in his earlier races, even his maiden races, some of them were not good.
I'm going to disagree a little with that. This is a horse that's had some bad trips. Back in the day when he first started running for Linda, he had some excuses in those races, some real trouble in those races.
His debut for sure.
Yeah, so I think he's shown some promise. I guess he can win. But of the 2 Ilke horses, I actually preferred Shoot the Nickel, who I thought's been in pretty good form and was wide last time against the Gold Rail. And gets a rider switch to Manny Franco.
Yeah, and I think also, too, for the trip that he pulled last time, the placement of the horse, too, being up in class, I thought he ran just fine and outran his odds exponentially there. And 2 back, he won like he was supposed to against a field that he was supposed to beat. With a fairer racetrack, there's no reason why he can't sit a better trip in this spot.
I completely agree with that. We'll see what happens. You're 5, a bit of a price here, Paul. 17 to 1. So
longest price on the board.
You'll be quite the hero if you're right.
Well, we're going to see if this horse can stand up on dirt. I think going into the break and the end of the season racing at Woodbine, this horse got himself into career form, raced against some decent fields, put up some decent numbers. Now we'll see if he can do it on dirt.
We'll see what happens as horses are heading into the gate for race number 7, the penultimate race on our card today. Chris Griffin will have the call.
$10 Town. Great Richie M. Last to load to the outside. Great Richie M. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Tightly packed here at the start, but now play emerges with a head advantage, and 10 Town goes right with that leader. These 2 hook up early, and Great Richie M, center of the racetrack, is now a challenging 3rd, is right there with Burnin' Hunk of Love. That's the top 4, and just sitting in behind them is Shoot the Nickel, as well spotted in 5th. Moving forward is Scoot Daddy from 6th. Towards the back end of the field is Roar of the Crowd, and the trailer, Shooter's Gotta Shoot. 22.60, a pressured opening quarter mile for Play. Play takes him into the far turn, is up by a half length, and 10 Town in close pursuit from 2nd. Right there is Burnin', Hunk of Love, and Shoot the Nickel. Manny Franco moves at the rail. A ground-saving Journey is now challenging towards the inside. An all-in Great Richie M, not cutting the margin yet. From the back, Scoot Daddy starts to run on. Shooters gotta shoot from the back. They reach the top of the stretch. Play is still there. Play is trying to shrug off the challenge of 10 Town. It's been a perfect journey for Shoot the Nickels, trying to catch the top duo. Here, down the center of the racetrack, Great Richie M trying to build some momentum too. 10 Town is in front. Shoot the Nickel just slowly getting to that leader. 10 Town, Shoot the Nickel. 10 Town, Shoot the Nickel. 10 Town, Shoot the Nickel. Photo! Photo finish. 10 Town to the inside. Shoot the Nickel. Then Play. Then another photo. That's Great Richie M with the oncoming Shooters Gotta Shoot in 1:18.54 seconds.
This was a very, very close one ahead, Bob, to the wire. Couldn't get a better trip than Shoot the Nickel got. Broke well, saved ground, angled out in the stretch, may or may not have gotten there. If he didn't, I think the horse, the number 4, and I'm actually rooting for the 1 to win the photo, but I think the 4, 10 Cent Town, ran too well to lose this race, Paul.
He did, and the race complexion changed quite a bit, too, when Burnin' Hunk of Love came out of the gate extremely slow, so that put play on the front end.
It was still a fast pace, Paul. I don't think it mattered.
Town with him, yeah. And a game effort from 10 Cent Town, without a doubt. My horse could not stand up on dirt, so there was the end of that. But Shoot the Nickel, good trip, been in form, and I think got there on that last bob.
I believe the 4 won this race, won the bob. So? Looks like the 4, to me, won the bob. We'll see what happens.
There you go.
As the 4, 10 Cent Town did get the money over Shoot the Nickel, had absolutely no excuse. And I took a little beat there in the photo, but I can't complain because 10 Cent Town was best.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, just went after play, which was the smart move. Once, you know, Jose Lezcano saw that there was no 3 inside of him and play kind of went to the front, but they went fast.
22-3 is pretty quick on this racetrack, and you think about how badly play backed up in the late stages here. It's a very honest pace on this racetrack. 10 Cent Town did all the dirty work. Shoot the Nickel could not have gotten a better trip. Did he get unlucky to lose the bob? A little bit, but he lost a horse that just simply ran a better race. So 10 Cent Town gets the photo done. Jose Lezcano and Mike Maselli getting the win. A lot more to come. We still have the finale here. We've still got a few at Oaklawn as well. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and the future is almost here, Paul, as we are actually less than 7 months away from the reopening of what's going to be a beautiful, very beautiful Belmont Park. Smaller, but much more modern, much more with the times, and just looking forward to get back to Belmont with all those great courses, and it's going to be great to get back there. Just September 18th is the opening.
It's been fun to drive by it and pass by it and see it as it's continued to be finished. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm someone who could be extremely nostalgic. Like,
Shocking.
I know, right? But I have a heart. But, you know, for someone who's extremely nostalgic, but I, for one, am really looking forward to a brand new Belmont Park and the change coming, because I think it's just going to be great for racing.
And this will be the last Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. Looking forward to getting back to Belmont Park in a mile and a half, but it's been fun to have a backup like Saratoga, and of course a tremendous array of stakes going through the 5-day racing week. The New York Breds will be on display on Wednesday. It's just terrific racing all week, and I think we're due this year to get good weather. What do you think?
I think the racing gods should be on our side for sure, because it is long overdue, especially with the winter we're having and so on. I think it's about time for some, I would say, around 80 degrees, sunny, no humidity. That'd be perfect.
Good luck with that. As we said, New York Showcase Day, we've got the stakes on Thursday. You've got plenty of Grade 1 action as well on Friday. I think one change is we moved the Just a Game to Saturday's Belmont card. It was on the Friday card, the 1 mile race for the Phillies. Very, very good race last year. And it's just going to be a sensational week of racing. We hope you can join us for what will be the last Belmont Stakes, a total of 51 days of racing in Saratoga this summer. Pretty amazing given how many years, and when I started going in Saratoga, 24 days, so more than twice the fun.
It's amazing how the times have changed, and it's amazing also how much the community just accepts it as well up there. Like, it's the place to be in the summer, you know, and everybody's looking forward.
I'm a Saratogian, so I could probably give you examples where there's some people up there that don't like us.
Well, they don't like, yeah. But
I don't agree with them, and I think they sometimes underestimate what Saratoga would look like if it wasn't for the racetrack being up there. But listen, I also went to school there and have many, many friends who are racing fans, friends I've been friends with for a long time, and it's a great racing town. It's a great town in general. A great town to have grown up in.
Plenty of places to go and to hang out even after the racing is done. So take in the racing and then go have a great meal.
Absolutely. Heading to the winner's circle, a deserving winner, 10-cent town, getting it done just barely in race number 7 with Jose Lezcano and Mike Maselli.
This was a heady ride, too, by Jose Lezcano going after play in this spot and doing all the dirty work, you know, against play. And as you mentioned before, play backing up in the stretch just showed how well 10-cent town ultimately ran, because Shoot the Nickel did have a very good trip. The inside part of the track was able to come out and rally, just could not get there in the final strides for a horse who's rounded into form in Shoot the Nickel. So this was more of what like 10-cent town was, you know, 2 starts back. I'm interested to see how this number comes back for a horse who did all the dirty work and ran well.
Yeah, nice effort by him. No excuse for the runner-up. It was close, but the bob went to the 4. It was all
right there.
It was a bob.
Yeah.
I listen, I needed the 1 to win, but I cannot complain because the 4 ran the better race. You know, sometimes you lose these bobs and you feel like you bet the better horse and it makes it frustrating. If the 1 won, I would have been lucky. So how much can you complain, you know?
No, it's true.
And not every beat isn't a tough beat just because it's close.
No, exactly. You're right. You know, sometimes you just got to take it in stride and say the better horse won.
Race number 9 coming up. The favorite will likely end up being Sequential, I'd imagine. I'm sure I think we're looking at a pick 6 carryover with that long shot winning earlier today. I'm interested in the 5 Resilient Hero. How about you, Paul?
I am interested in the 2 Ambridge in this spot in here, but I did give the 5 a look as well in here.
Are you trying to comfort me?
No, Delila Rivera has been your jam today. 3 horses of hers today.
Well, I think she rides just fine, and this horse has some things to like. But a somewhat competitive race, Magnanimous Max, we're taking a lot of money, is scratched. We going back to Oaklawn? We're going to break. Oh. Good to know. We'll be back.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com. This winter, give the gift of racing with NYRA Bets gift card. share your passion with friends and family, or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NYRABets.com.
First again and again and again.
Mission to win it.
First mission. 4 graded stakes. He made finishing first his mission, and all with big buyers. Now he's a Darley stallion, and breeders are falling in love with him. Here's fabled horseman John Williams.
First mission is an eyeful. He's beautifully balanced, and I love the way he uses himself as he moves.
Come to see First Mission and tell us your first impression. Consider it your mission.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Hill & Dale at Alapa, another incredibly historic, beautiful farm. I'm Richard Migliori, joined by Megan Burgess, and we are up to race 7 here at Oaklawn Park. Megan, we got maiden claimers going a mile and a 16th.
Thought this was a tough race, especially for the level. Many are dropping out of those maiden special weight races, and I don't know about you, Mig, but time flies when you're having fun, and we looked down and it was already race 7 among us.
Yeah, already halfway through the show. We're kind of speeding on through, but this is kind of an interesting race. Again, I thought it was just such a handicapping conundrum. Yes. Which direction did you go? Well, let's get through the post race, and then we'll get into who you liked here. And we'll start with the one, a long shot in Mitchell's Joy.
I think 5.5 was too sharp for this horse. I'm eager to see this horse stretch out a son of Prayer for Relief out of a sprinter type dam.
And the 2, Bago Time, couple of around the fringes efforts.
And just gets out of the gate so slow, makes his plotting style a lot to do late.
And the 3, Private Show, first time up the claim for our friend and colleague Tom Amos.
This is who I landed on. More about him in a moment, but has some upside.
The 4, Empire Ranch. Last race left a little bit desired. The first 3 starts were okay.
Comes off the layoff with some sharp work. Check out that 47 and change back on the 13th.
The 5-horse Magical Wish, dropping down from maiden allowance to maiden claiming.
Needed the start last time out, gets that long layoff out of the way, and does get out of that inside post last time out.
And the Brad Cox trainee, the 6, Backside.
Solid foundation of works. I'm a little hesitant with shorter prices in this group.
7 is Scratch, the 8, Hard Circle.
First full to race out of the dam, and also first off of the claim for Mike Maker.
Also the first time ever on a fast dirt racetrack. Oh. And the 9, 11 Bravo.
Has not made an indentation on dirt. Seems to me more of a grass type.
Yeah, the grass races, synthetic races have been a bit better. The dirt races, leaving something to be desired. Who did you kind of focus in on here?
Well, I will say this, Meg. We've not seen a favorite win, I believe only once. That was earlier on in the card, but we've had some pretty nice prices. I wanted to shoot for one here, a decent one in the number 3. Private Show up there at 5-1, as mentioned, for our colleague Tom Amos. He's done this a couple of times this meet where he claims one, gives them a nice makeover as he does here with the first-time gelding angle, but decent pedigree. The second dam was a multiple graded stakes placed and grade 1 placed sprinter. Again, gets the freshening, has been working well, and just looking at his moves here at Oaklawn, now being a gelding, he's just got a solo move on the 13th of February, was moving freely, nice move, switch lead. So I'm hoping to see this horse improve, but we'll say we talked about this. It's always tough to claim off of a barn like Brad Cox, and perhaps maybe this horse will show a little bit more tactical speed off of that equipment change.
And Tom Amos has just done such great work over the years. 4,265 career victories with a very, very high percentage. Obviously, horses like Serengeti Empress, Heritage of Gold. He's a horseman's horseman. The 6, Backside, much like the horse you like in Private Show, not that exposed, only one start. And I don't want a horse that's had a lot of chances in here. And I thought this horse was kind of strung along, chasing a fastish pace at a hybrid distance of 7.5 furlongs.
I mean, 7.5 is tough to debut at where this horse ended up at Churchill Downs. And stretching off the bench, Brad Cox, extremely gaudy numbers doing so, 35% sprint to route number, and just has a solid foundation of works coming back, being a pretty precipitous drop in class, though. So I just wonder, sometimes, I mean, Brad's been okay this meet. He just hasn't sent his big players, and I just wonder, he's done this a lot with horses, kind of dropping them in really low, and honestly, it hasn't worked out that well for them. So this horse could just be better than these, but I still have my qualms, and I'm hoping, even though I'm looking at the television screen, this horse looks fantastic on track.
Well, listen, I agree with you. Brad hasn't had the kind of meet that you expect from Brad Cox. He's winning at 12% right now at Oaklawn, 26% last year overall. So it kind of gives you an idea of the drop-off from, what he does normally. I'm sure they'll right that ship at some point. You get Christian Torres, who I think is riding as well as anybody right now. And I just went there because I said, well, he's a little less exposed than everybody else. He only has the one start to go on. And he's a homebred for Gary and Mary West. He is a pretty son of a gun, isn't he?
He is. His coat is resplendent, shining like a copper penny, we often hear us say. And, I mean, his dam won routing. And I do find that this distance, getting a little bit more ground, he looks like a leggy individual. The ground could really suit him as well.
Yes. And I'm not a person that is dazzled by chestnuts with the white markings. I'm more of a
flashy,
plain
though.
He is very flashy. But in racing, pretty is as pretty does.
That's true. That one's true.
All right, so you're on Private Show, the 3. I'm on the 6 backside. Anybody else that you feel like needs to be talked about? Obviously, the 8 is taking money. He's your favorite, but I'm not really seeing it, although we talked about it. The Grand Dam was runner-up in the Goldenrod on dirt and runner-up in the graded Regret on turf.
And the number 8 Hard Circle, the Sire Hardspun can kind of throw both, whether it's turf or dirt. Better on dirt, though, first off the claim from Mike Maker. And man, is Mike Maker very dangerous doing so. But this horse has had some pretty slow works. I just find his just getting to the dirt for the first time, his efforts on that synthetic and turf has just been better. Really did no running there at Laurel way back in the day when he did get on the dirt. So I think that maybe just taking some connections as far as that money is concerned. But just to throw one more stat at you as far as number 3 Private Show is cementing my case 6-1, hoping to bring a price in. Tom Amoss, first off the claim for maiden claimers the past 5 years is 31%. He's 11 for 35, and 20 of those horses ran in the money. So Mig, maybe we can bring a price home in this one.
Well, that is a very strong stat, but Tom Amoss, like I said, a horseman's horseman, somebody that horses always look good, and he's a very good manager, places them well. You have to be not only a good horse person, but place your horses where they can succeed. Well, they're loading up for race 7. We're going to mile and a 16th here, maiden claimers, and they will finish at the first wire at the 16th pole. Here's Matt Dinnerman with your call.
With Magical Wish to go into the starting gate. Private Show coming up. Here's Backside, your current 2-1 favorite. That could change, but that's where the odds stand currently. Backside goes it. Empire Ranch walking forward. 2 back, Hard Circle, and 11 Bravo. Bravo to the outside post. We're ready to go. And we're off. Bago time off slowly. Hard Circle sent for speed. Magical Wish is up there. Mitchell's Joy close to the pace. Private Show not far away as they go into the first turn run. Private Show's going to have to take back and steady when they went into the turn. And Hard Circle's content on having the lead. He's got it. Gets to the rail. Accelerates. Opens up a length and a half. 11 Bravo runs in second. Mitchell's Joy chasing third on the fence. Private Show getting outside. He's fourth now. 3 ahead of Empire Ranch and Backside. Another 4 to Magical Wish, who's second to last in the slow starter out of the gate. Bago Time is at the back of the pack as they make their way up the backstretch. Hard Circle, a mild favorite at 5-2, leads the way by a length. 11 Bravo right there on the outside on his tail, keeping things honest. Then comes Private Show. Mitchell's Joy to the inside. They're 6 ahead of Backside. Empire Ranch is behind him now. While niggled along a bit, second at last is still Magical Wish, and Bago Time can see them all as they go into the far turn. Decent tempo set by Hard Circle. Went 46-1 for that half. Hard Circle needs to keep going. Enters the turn 2 lengths ahead now. 11 Bravo trying to keep up, but he's under a hard ride to do it and loses contact with Hard Circle as they round the far turn. Private Show up into the second position, chasing Hard Circle, approaching the quarter pole. Then comes Backside. Magical Wish under the stick. He's getting going. Magical Wish on the outside at the top of the stretch. Magical Wish has all the momentum right now, and he's moving up after Hard Circle. Magical Wish, each and every stride, he's getting to Hard Circle. Magical Wish trying to catch Hard Circle. He's got ahead in front now, Magical Wish, with 1 furlong to go. Goes by Hard Circle in the final 16th. Backside coming on into the second position, but he will not catch Magical Wish and Manny Esquivel to win it. Backside was second. Hard Circle third. Private Show was fourth.
Magical Wish, I'm getting ahead of myself, ran extremely well here, dropping from the maiden allowance race to a maiden claimer, but he got a lot of pace to run at.
My goodness, did he? 46-1 for a maiden 35? That's pretty
Very
fast pace. And hey, the 8 held on. The pace held a bit as the 8 managed to still do a bit of running late, even though growing clearly tired. But man, the number 5, Magical Wish, was against the likes of New What's New, who looks to be just incredibly talented for Jimmy DeVito. Hypnus last year, gun stakes winner. So he was certainly getting a precipitous drop in class. Working well, needed to start off with that long layoff and hadn't shown speed in any of his starts, and certainly got the right setup for a closer in this very fast pace.
It was a very game effort from the 8 Hard Circle, who set an extremely fast pace for the distance and the level. He was just edged out by Backside, who was actually passed by the winner, Magical Wish, but it was a race that certainly set up for closers, and Magical Wish was the best of those closers. And like you said, New What's New. They come back 2 consecutive triple-digit buyer figures, so he looks like a horse that potentially has some star quality.
This did not feel like a maiden 35 race at all, and it certainly played out like that on the racetrack, with many of those horses dropping in class as we look ahead to what looks to be a really exciting couple of Arkansas bred stakes this weekend. But this was honestly such a strong Thursday card to me, from top to bottom.
Well, we're going to head back to New York. Megan and I are going to head over to the track side. We're going to leave the set, but back to you, Andy.
Thanks a lot, Richie. Thanks, Meg. Still got one race to go here before heading over there, and I like Hall and Ice in the stake tomorrow, the Down the Dusty Road. She looks very solid. You might get 220. I'm not certain she'll be 220, but you might get the 220.
It's going to be tough to get anything more than that.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, pretty strong horse for that race, and I think kind of towers over them a bit. But if you can get better than 220, let us know.
230 might be an overlay on Hall and Ice in tomorrow's Down the Dusty. I think it's the Down the Dusty Road.
Dusty Road, yeah.
I love that name. Yeah. It's a great name. She's actually a pretty horse. I think that she won the LeBray. She's an Archie bred that won the LeBray.
Could be right.
I believe she's the one that went out there and won that Grade 1 out in California. We do have one race coming up in here, and a couple of horses vying for the favoritism, Ambridge and Sequential. I was kind of wrong. I thought that Morning Line Maker, who had made Sequential a second choice behind Magnanimous Max, I thought this horse might be a big favorite, and it's absolutely not the case, even though he may end up favored. Right now, the second choice behind Ambridge goes out for Bill Morey.
I just wonder with Sequential, I know Sequential fought all the way last time. It was a really good race. It came back really fast, but where did that race come from for this horse? And
I agree.
To be fair, Probability ran a 79 before that, so it's not like Probability had run badly, prior, but it was a fast race. So it's just a question of whether or not you think this horse can repeat that race on some level.
I agree. I mean, the horse is nothing special off the previous races. I don't know what, these one-number horses are tricky, but that last race was legit, and it was good as they're heading out the track. Magnanimous Max is scratched, as is the 8 Enduring Angel, but Ambridge will be hitting the racetrack very soon. Manny Franco looking for the win on this horse. After taking that tough nose beat last race, Ambridge goes out for trainer Bill Morey with Manny.
I like that this horse showed some good forward speed last time out, now drops in class a little bit. Should be a little bit tighter, too, for that effort last time out.
Surprised McDiesel's not a bigger prize. Ruben Silvera riding this one for Rudy Rodriguez.
Yeah, stretching out today, getting back to the mile distance coming off that December break.
Another long shot is the 4 Egyptian. Goes out for Orlando Noda with Kokakaya.
Yeah, cutting back. Wasn't the fastest of duels last time, but was on the pace, albeit slow.
I'm taking a small shot with a 5 Resilient Hero. Goes out for Jose Jimenez. First time for a tag.
Blinkers going on. This is a drop that this horse needs because it's had some trips.
Ambition, who's done most of his running on the turf.
Yeah, the dirt figs aren't that terrible, but better turf horse, I think, in my opinion.
I agree, but the dirt figs aren't that far out of it. The 7 Superpower also running for a tag first time.
Yeah, drops in class in here. We'll see what we get out of this horse because this horse has a couple of numbers that do figure.
The current favorite, the 9 Sequential, Jose Lozcano, looking for another win.
As we talked about, just got a question where that figure came from last time. Can it be replicated?
The money for the 10 Small Change Jeep.
Yep.
Jimmy Ryerson and Flavian.
Yeah, dropping in class in here, probably a needed drop into the claiming level.
And Desperate Proposal, who is a much better turf horse.
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah, as opposed to a dirt horse. So hopefully we'll see this horse on the turf down the line.
But talking again about Sequential, we'll take a look at his last race. And listen, he runs that last race. I don't think it's possible that he loses here.
I don't think so either. And I guess the things you had to like about that race was, fought the entire way, which he's done before. Even in his previous race, he got hounded all the way around the track before losing to Grand Commander as a favorite, but was able to shake off, well, not really shake off, but able to dig in and hold off probability in this spot. So, again, going back, talked about a horse like Probability who has run well prior, has run decent figures prior. So obviously this race came up fast. First time this horse ran this fast. Are we going to see this horse do it again from an outside draw? Are we going to see a slower race out of this horse? It's just hard to tell because sometimes you just don't know what to do with horses that run big figures one time.
And he did run a little bit better, it looks, in his prior race because he did hook up into what was a pretty fair pace duel, and the winner, Grand Commander, was able to take advantage of it. But I don't know. I have no idea where this horse's last race came from, and I have absolutely no idea if he's going to be able to run it again today.
It was hard last time, other than the price, to kind of like him because you thought, all right, Probabilities run better, so...
5-6-8 in the Oaklawn 7th, 1180 on Magical Wish, getting it done in race number 7. Still a couple races left to go there as well. And, of course, our finale, horses are hanging the gate. The number 2 you like is Ambridge.
I thought before the June layoff, this horse was actually cycling up to a good effort, ran well in that start to get the job done, break the maiden, had quite a bit of time off, came back for Bill Maury, who does well. I like that this horse was forward last time out, just was tired late and maybe just needs this little bit of drop in class and is tighter for that effort, second off of a layoff. Bill Maury hasn't won yet at the meet, but his horses are always competitive. So for me, I thought this was more of a horse that probably needed a race back and gets a little bit of class relief too.
Yeah, he is the second likeliest winner of this race. If the 9 doesn't get it done, he's the second likeliest winner. I don't love his races. I don't think he's that much better than a lot of horses, but he certainly makes some sense. The 7 Superpower has to be talked about is that huge upset win at 37-1, but the rest of his races just aren't very good. It's a logical drop down for Miguel Clement and West Point.
I agree. It kind of reminds me of the drop that Miguel had last week as well, except that horse dropped further than this horse is. So, but does have a race or two on his card that if he runs back to those races.
1.
Right.
Doesn't have 2. He's got 1.
I think when he ran third at Pimlico was okay. The start before the layoff on May 11th
was okay, but I don't think it wins this race.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. So, but dropping in class, I think, is also going to help this horse now. But that race was so bad, at Laurel. So we'll see.
I'll give my story on Resilient Hero, the horse I like. I like the drop down for the first time, running for a tag. And this horse has been running in horses in a different galaxy than these. Vibrant Express, Mo 88, King's Leap, Iron Dome. These are just better horses. And he's been running figures in some of those races that are absolutely competitive with everybody here except for the last number for Sequential. So if Sequential doesn't run back to that number, I think he's a 10-1 shot that probably should be 5-1.
Yeah, he was in spots where they were just impossible for him and pulled impossible trips too sometimes where he was extremely wide and sometimes the race flow was against him in spots. So blinkers going on today, a drop that's needed. This horse at 11-1 offers good value.
I certainly hope so. He looks like value to me. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's not that dissimilar to the 5-horse who ran second earlier today. A horse that has races that are fast enough to compete that, in my opinion, is too big a price. And, you know, as you search for value, it's very hard to find it in horse racing, especially with the takeout. But I think he's a horse that's a very fair price at 11-1. But Sequential's the favorite, 2-1 as they go in the gate. Ambridge, the second choice at 5-2. Chris Griffin's got one more race to call today. We'll get that call in just a moment.
Sequential moving forward, waiting on Resilient Hero. Small change Jeep. Resilient Hero stepping forward, and Desperate Proposal. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Resilient Hero is flashing early speed, but now tackled to the outside by Sequential, and also right there comes McDiesel. McDiesel with a head advantage. Sequential goes right with that leader as they get set to come out of the chute and hook up the backstretch. McDiesel and Sequential, 1-2 just off of them is now Egyptian. Egyptian is a close-up third with At the Rail. It's Ambridge moving forward. Center of the racetrack comes Superpower. Resilient Hero broke on top, is now back to the 6th spot. It's 4.5 in front of Ambition, who starts to make a move from the back there with Desperate Proposal. And the trailer, Small Change Jeep. 23.74 was that opening quarter mile. McDiesel is the target. It's McDiesel with 4 furlongs left to go. We'll take him into that far turn. Here comes the run 3 wide from Superpower. Sequentials in between horses, 47 and 4 for a half-mile time. Also trying to run on there is Ambridge, who's at the rail. Moving forward quickly is Egyptian, who's back in the bit, and Resilient Hero dropping back. At the rail, Ambition comes forward. Red Sleeves starts to make a move. Desperate Proposals out wider. No move yet from Small Change Jeep at the back end of the field. They reach the top of the stretch, and McDiesel is still there. McDiesel still with a nose advantage. Sequential ready to pounce towards the outside. Now here comes clear running room on the center of the racetrack. It's Egyptian. Ambition starts to roll too. Ambition from far out of it. Christopher Elliott. Ambition is now sprinting away. Ambition up by 2.5. Give it to Ambition to win the finale. Egyptian second, then Sequential, and Ambridge in 1 minute 39.19 seconds.
Well, they were contentious up front, and Ambitious made the last move. Christopher Elliott and Rachel Sells teaming up for the win. Another horse who dropped down substantially. This one also running for a tag for the first time.
Yeah, good to see Rachel get her first win here of the meet. And we talked about it earlier that the figures were not terrible for this horse. They were not great on the dirt. Looked like it was a better turf horse, but got the right setup
Same
today.
Same figures
for sure.
as my horse that
yeah.
I liked, who looked like she was going to have plenty. He was going to have plenty of horse, and had absolutely nothing. Resilient Hero got a very good ride by Christopher, saving ground and angling out in the stretch. It's his signature move,
right there,
and gets it done over the long shot. The number 4 Egyptian. As this race, just kind of the logical horses just did not run.
No, and you know, I mean, I know that Ambridge gets in a little bit of trouble here, but he was done when he got into a little bit of trouble, and really there was nothing much out of Sequential either in this spot.
He was forward between horses, but had nothing. No, it really was a funny race. You're right, your 2 got a little trouble and ran a little at the end, but
Egyptian
didn't do
well.
much running. Egyptian ran fine. Just a funny race where the logical horses did no running. 6-4-9-2 closes it out. We'll have the official results of this race after a quick break, and we still have 2 races to go at Turf Paradise as well as 2 at Oaklawn Park. Why is he saying hi to me? No, I mean, not that I mind, but. Oh, I'm sorry. You there, Richie? I can't hear him.
Do you want to just talk silent tactic first?
Right.
Hello.
Hey, Andy, how are you? We
I hear you.
sets.
I hear
That's why
both
we
you.
check the
Guys
mics.
good?
You hear
Okay.
me? Yep.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thanks.
Gotcha.
I really want to talk about class president.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Gainesway Farm. Power, passion, performance at Gainesway Farm. Race number 8, the finale, not official yet, but it will be. The 6, Ambition, gets it done, 6-4-9-2. So while the choices ran 3rd and 4th, a couple of price horses running 1-2, pick 6 carryover of 15,300 and change, and Ambition could not have gotten a better ride from Christopher Elliott, who continues to impress me with his riding.
I love that move that he made, too. Stood on the rail, didn't get this horse in trouble. When the seam opened up to swing wide, he did off the turn and had all the momentum with a horse who has run okay enough on dirt to have been a factor in this spot and got the pace that this horse needed for sure and was able to close into it and get the job done in here. Just good effort as well from the 4 Egyptian, I thought, and not so good of an effort from Sequential. The horse on the rail, my 2 horse, had a little bit of trouble there. But I think the running was over and he was not going to number at all in the number. So
outside chance he could have been 3rd, but I don't disagree with that. But 1986 to win, dollar exact $122. Pick 4, $2,300 and change, $9,100 for the pick 5. Hope you had that. The pick 6, Conso 135.01, $15,391.50 into the carryover for tomorrow's card here at Aqueduct. I'm just glad to see the racetrack is fair today. You know, we've seen a much, much fairer track, and it's just nice to get more competitive racing under those circumstances.
I think so, too, because it also makes you not want to have to throw a dart, at handicapping.
Well, I don't think it's throwing a dart. It's not. I don't agree with that. I think it's. Well, the problem is there's different layers to handicapping, and when you have a bias like that, it's all about trying to find out who's going to be on the rail.
It's more about attention.
And there's a lot of luck as to who gets the rail.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not always the fastest horse that's in front. It's not always the horse in front that wins, but it's horses that are able to save ground. And when the track starts playing such a big role, I think it's unfair. It's hard for horse players, but it's also unfair to a lot of the trainers and owners. They're entering horses a lot of times that just have no chance to win the race.
With no shot. Yeah.
And you want to think most horses don't win because they're not good enough, but you don't want to be good enough to win a race and not be able to have a chance because of the way the track is playing. It's going to happen occasionally, but for 2 weeks straight, it was it was weather related and understandable, but it was still a difficult period.
Too long. Yeah.
There will be some good bets backs from it, so I'm looking forward to playing off of that bias going forward. Big race coming up at Oaklawn next week, and I believe that I just want to know, how did they choose you, Richie, to do the draw over Meg? I mean, I don't know. I would have gone to Meg over you, Richie. It's just me. I'm guessing that you knocked her over. There was probably like a race to get it done, and you pushed her over so you could get it done. Is there any truth to that?
I promise you that I would have allowed her to have it completely. I actually had to come in yesterday to do a rehearsal, so
Be careful what you wish for.
I've still got my laundry done, though.
You still got your adventure this morning done. You got to hike and go see the waterfalls?
Got to take a hike this morning before you guys, but let's talk about some of those probables for the Rebel, including a horse that we both believe has a pedigree that should suggest a switch back to dirt would be okay, although it didn't run too well in dirt on debut in Swift Blade.
Swift Blade for Brad Cox, an aggressive placement for maiden facing winners coming off of that maiden win last time out at the fairgrounds. And the second dam, Juddmonte Homebred, is none other than Close Hatches. And as we discussed off camera, that's really all you need to know, as he will take back on dirt after a solid win there on the grass at fairgrounds. And I always think it's interesting when they put them in aggressive pivots, as this is.
Well, and there's really good, strong works on the dirt at fairgrounds, like we talked about the pedigree. And sometimes a horse just needs a race or two for that proverbial light bulb to go on. So the first time didn't show much. Obviously improved speed second time. Big step up, but Brad Cox, he's been winning big races for a long time.
Yeah, he knows exactly how to place them and also how to just take them where they need to go. Idiomatic, also a champion that took some time to get going there. But class president for Todd Pletcher. I don't think we see very many Todd Pletcher horses here at Oaklawn, but we should be seeing Renegade to the Arkansas Derby, and class president here coming off a second place performance in the Swale with that 88 buyer speed figure. He's a progressive type. He looks like a big stout colt that's going to get the distance, and I like what I've been seeing, taking a step forward each time I've seen him run.
And from what I understand, Johnny Velasquez will be coming in to retain the mount.
What a day.
We got the 5 top leading riders from last year will be here on Rebel Day. And then we're going on to...
Brandt could certainly be a contender here for Bob Baffert. We'll see which one lands here. I know Butane ran, of course, in that Southwest. So we'll see which Bob Baffert foe kind of takes on this group as we will draw on Saturday. And the questions will certainly be dismantled once we do that live draw. That will be right here on our Fox show.
Yeah, and Brandt, listen, he was third behind the 2-year-old champion, Ted Noffe. Obviously a player. Bob Baffert knows how to win the Rebel.
He does.
That's for sure. We're going to take a quick time out before we get to race 8. The horses are on the track, and we'll see you on the other side of this break with more America's Day at the Races.
Drain the Clock will win and win by as much as he wants.
Drain the Clock will bound home the winner. Drain the Clock, Jackie's Warrior, drain the clock by a head.
$270,000.
In the back, $250,000.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on NYRA Bets. Open your NYRA Bets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the NYRA Bets app to start using Fast Facts today.
Witness history.
Sandman is getting a little bit closer with Hypnos.
Greatness.
Here comes Cole Battle and Juan Vargas rolling towards the lead.
And legends in the making.
Cole Battle, the story continues. Cole Battle does it.
Sunday, March 1st at the 2026 Rebel Stakes. Watch champions rise on the road to the Kentucky Derby and compete for a $1 million purse. It's all happening just a short drive away at Oaklawn Hot Springs. Plan your stay today and come join the fun.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Still have some action to go at both Oaklawn and Turf Paradise as they are on the track for the post parade for race number 8, 6 furlongs. And a long shot's going to kick it off, and that's the number 1. Tomcat Tuesday going out for Gennaro Garcia.
Comes off a little bit of a break, gets back to the dirt today, also rises up in class.
Number 2 is Perfect Magic, Steve Asmussen and Eric Asmussen.
Couple of wins down at Remington. We'll see how much pressure this horse takes early on, because there's some other speed signed on here.
There's a lot of other speed in this race. I'm not even sure he'll be in the first flight. We'll see how they ride them. The 3 goes out for for Christian Torres, poker, Night at V's. I didn't know the V had a poker game going on.
I know.
Is that Veronica?
Yeah,
Our
maybe.
good friend
We got to ask her.
Veronica.
Yeah.
She's the brains behind this entire operation. The 5 is Favoritism goes by. The number 6, Ripped. Another one for Steve Asmussen, this time with Keith.
This is a horse who can actually come from off the pace, which should be nice because to get a setup in here, you think.
Yeah, there does appear to be some pace in this race. I do not disagree. The 7, Hoagie the Player, is going by.
Only dirt start got beat 11 1/4 lengths back in October of last year.
Speed there. Heavy favorite, classic time. Does this horse look like a heavy favorite for Norm Cassie?
Maybe just
Gary Barber?
Based off of the last race and the way this horse won, maybe they're thinking same trip this time, but it's tough to take at 8-5.
I don't get why that horse is an overwhelming favorite. I like the 10, Mapped to the Stars, Armando Hernandez.
Yeah, I had no chance last time, obviously stumbling badly at the start.
And the 11, Run, Jalen Run, rounds out the field. Steve Manley.
You know, this horse has run okay and has some decent figures, just 0 for 10, though, over the Oaklawn Park track. That's the biggest problem for me.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty competitive field. Well, a trainer is represented by Poker Night at V's. Sean Williams is standing by with Meg.
As mentioned here with Sean Williams, sending out the number 3, Poker Night at V's. First of all, I love the name. But as we described off camera, this horse doesn't need the lead, but obviously has that natural speed to put him in the right position early.
We're going to play by the break. I don't see us being on the lead today. I think there's a little more speed than us. I think we'll be in a nice shocking spot. We'll see. We'll play by the break.
You claimed this horse for $25,000. Just talk about the progression he's shown and now the confidence to be able to put him in spots like these.
You know, he ran really good races in California. You can't really knock the prices that he ran for because he was running huge numbers doing it. We did step him up into the one other than a few weeks ago at Houston. He showed up. Now we're jumping him up here.
Talk to me about the differences. You're obviously more on the West Coast, coming to Oaklawn for the winter. What have you learned through your time having horses here at Oaklawn Park?
It's challenging. You got to deal with a lot of weather. Other than that, it's a great place to race horses.
Well, we appreciate the time. Best of luck. Looks great in here.
All right. Thank you, Megan.
Andy?
Thank you. Thank you, Megan, as well. Thank you, Sean, for the interview. And there's his horse, the 3, Poker Night at V's.
4 for 13 lifetime, has shown an ability to be on the pace or off the pace if needed. So I think fits here against this group, especially when you take a look at some of the races that this horse has run previously, especially out in California, the fields this horse was up against. Last time out at Sam Houston, that was a race that this horse was supposed to win, was able to get in front, was able to control, dictate, and just draw off. This might be a little bit tougher. We'll see how this spot turns out with speed signed on all around this horse and where this horse might come from. But it is a good thing that this horse has won from off the pace before.
Yeah, there does seem to be some pace in this race, no doubt about it, and we'll see how the rest of the riders are. But any of the 5, 7, 11 potentially have speed in this race. And the number 8 should take advantage of that classic time. I'm just not sure what I'm missing, that this horse coming from Fairgrounds is such a heavy favorite. I mean, 6-5 now. I thought this was a much more competitive race.
Yeah, and I know this horse was between horses.
He can't win.
But ended up in the clear and ended up being able to run down pace in front of him in that spot. Maybe he does the same thing here. Maybe it's people see the start going way back to March and you see a $100,000 stake race and this horse missed by a neck, and sometimes people fall in love with seeing that in the running lines too. But it is a short price to take on a horse who has just this one figure. You know, that this horse ran an 82 last time out and looked nice coming from off the pace doing it, but it was a career best for this horse. Now this horse ships into Oaklawn and is going to have to replicate it here, 7-5. So
yeah, I'm a little
surprised
short by this price. I mean, why is this horse 7-5 and Ripped 9-1? Rip's got nothing but faster figs.
Right. Even go back to the November 8th race when this horse broke his maiden. This horse did it well because this horse was actually up on that pace that day, you know, at Churchill Downs and fought it out to get the job done in that spot and ran well. I mean,
but he ran well last time.
Exactly. You know, and forget about the ease line going the mile because that was just a disaster. But surround those races makes the horse. Doesn't that make the horse to beat in here in some ways? Off those two efforts that are circled around that east efforts for me?
I don't know a horse to beat. I think it's a very competitive race as we take a look at his last race.
And in this spot, again, you know, they went fast early on. He was able to he had a little bit of traffic trouble early in that race, but nothing that really took him out of his game. He was able to get through in between horses, and right here he shouldered on through and was game down to the wire and got the job done against Camp Evans in there, and it was a long way back to the third place runners as this race collapsed. So thought he made a move into the pace and ran exceptionally well in there.
No, I agree. He's not supposed to be 9-1.
Yeah.
We'll see if them changes happen. The last flash can be big down at Oaklawn Park. I like Map to the Stars and the 11 Run Jalen Run, the two outside horses. See how things play out as we head back to our team at Oaklawn.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And we're going to start with the two Perfect Magic from the Steve Asmussen barn. He has two in here, both ridden by his sons. This is the one that has more of the speed.
Right, and as we mentioned, we have quite a bit of pace signed on as we talked to Sean Williams with the number 3. At least now we know that that horse doesn't have to have the lead. He can show a little bit more of that rateability, which makes it really key for him. But the number 2, Perfect Magic, coming off a bit of time away. He's run really well here, never notched a win. This is a tough spot, and I'm just interested to see if he can show that same kick, being amongst a contested pace on the front end.
It should be quick. Like all of Steve Asmussen's runners, really well turned out. Great in the coat. Good inside info, right, with the poker night at V's. The fact that this horse is looking to take more of a rating tact.
That's key. And while he's rated in the past, I mean, he obviously rated 3 back when they claimed him for $25,000. Now stepping him up to what I think is a very solid field in this group that came together. And I just love that we kind of have that in the back of our minds, knowing this horse is going to be able to sit off of things. And he's very interesting now, coming into Oaklawn, training really well. He's been doing really well, just kind of one of those horses that Sean's spoken highly of in the mornings. And I'm excited to see him take another step forward.
I'm about the 6-horse Rip, the other Asmussen, because of the closing style. I think this race is kind of crying out for someone to come running late. Another one that looked tremendous, and all of his sprint efforts are very, very strong. I mean, he's got an 89 buyer figure, then sandwiched between a race going a mile where he didn't really compete at all. And then last time, the bravery he showed, the guys were talking about it when they showed the replay, kind of muscling his way through. I think he's going to get pace. I'm really surprised he's 8-1.
He's a complete overlay. 8-1 is honestly a bit preposterous considering how well he ran last time out. And while that was against a non-2 winners of lifetime $75,000 group, I still thought it was a pretty strong group. Does he read like a back-to-back winner? We shall see. Took him a long time to break that maiden, but he's been in strong form. And last out, he saved ground along the rail. He was quick. He kind of pounced on him, and then he just really was so game late. Seeing horses dig in and be so ferocious in the lane, I really like to see him do that because he's kind of been missing that piece in some of those maiden tries.
Well, I'm surprised it is 8-1. I'm also surprised at the 8-horse Classic Times 8-5 favoritism right now.
It's coming out of Louisiana breds there, and this is a tough spot, and Norm is incredibly competitive second off. We'll see if he can match up to that favoritism in here.
Well, they're loading up for the 8th time today. Let's send it up. Matt Dinnerman for the call.
Map to the Stars, post 10, and Run Jalen Run to the outside post. Here's Run Jalen Run coming up. We're ready to go. And they're off. Uneventful beginning. Run Jalen Run on the far outside, close per usual. Hoagie the player, the long shot, moving up to grab a short lead early. Poker Night at V's not far away, is moving up between horses. Tomcat Tuesday inside of the first two as they head down the backstretch. Contentious pace on the front end. Classic Time sets up shop right behind them with Map to the Stars to the outside and Run Jalen Run, who's eased off the pace. Favoritism 5 lengths off the lead going into the far turn. 2 clear of Perfect Magic, and Ripped is the trailer as they round the far turn. Poker Night at Fees, nose in front of Hoagie the player, who's pressing hard, and these two are 2 lengths ahead of Classic Time, who's all in right now, running in the 3rd position. Map to the Stars tries to get closer with Run Jalen Run, and then Tomcat Tuesday as they come to the top of the stretch here. Hoagie the player, Poker Night at V's off the turn. Poker Night at V's going away now from Hoagie the player. Classic Time in the 3rd position, 1 furlong to go. It's Poker Night at V's. Classic Time trying to reel this one in, is finding his best stride as 2 lengths to gain in the final 16th. Poker Night at Fees. Classic Time's trying to tag it just right. Classic Time on the outside, wearing down Poker Night at Fees. Classic Time got it. Classic Time over Poker Night at Fees. Then Tomcat Tuesday and Perfect Magic.
And it was the favorite. Classic Time getting it done. Backed up that last effort with another big effort here. Got a lot of pace to run at, which we anticipated. But we saw Norm Cassie right before we came back on air on this track side, and I thought he was very well turned out, but here he's got a winner.
He does. That's true. Norm looks great for a Thursday, but it is Classic Time. Getting it done in the end against open foes. I mean, his horse ran on the grass and the Skidmore all the way back in his 2-year-old year, as he felt like a favorite to be against, but got that solid pace. And I thought the number 3 ran a solid race as well.
He really did. Poker Night at V's did show more speed, even though Sean kind of shared that he wouldn't mind if he rated a little bit. It was a fast pace. So I guess it's fair to say that Poker Night at V's went all in. See what I did there?
That's nice. Oh, gosh. I knew there was going to be something in there, but I loved it as we take a look at this drone shot. The number 8 powering away late. I thought the 3 would hold on, but you could say the 3 did some of the heavier lifting on the front end late, as Classic Time nails them at the wire, but good for this Louisiana bred. Getting a win in open company opens him up to some of these competitive races here at Oaklawn.
Maybe a son of Classic Empire who's just improving, getting better at the right time. He certainly backed up his last effort at the fairgrounds against the Louisiana Breds, but we'll be back on the other side of the break with the finale at Oaklawn Park and some more racing from Turf Paradise.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. The Winner's Circle lead-in is brought to you by Fasig-Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.fasigtipton.com. Let's get digital. Still can't figure out how this horse was a heavy favorite. Still can't figure out how this horse won, who was an all-out driver, the 3/8 pole, but got the money for Norm Cassie and owner Gary Barber. I believe that Norm is standing by with Meg.
Norm is standing by with Meg, as I'm, of course, joined by Norm Cassie, and the number 8 Classic Time gets it done, especially being against open foes here.
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive today. It seems like the track here is pretty speed biased. It's really speedy today. You can't really rush this horse off his feet too much. It kind of takes away his kick, but I thought Louis rode him perfect, and we needed every inch of the stretch to run down the front runner.
He's typically one that kind of have to ask along, doesn't necessarily, kind of has to be ridden along and cued, not necessarily as maybe does it as easy.
Yeah, he's just I wouldn't categorize him as a difficult horse to ride, but he's just today the track didn't suit his style. Fairgrounds obviously has a much longer stretch. It's a little bit more of a closer-friendly racetrack. Here's a little bit different, especially today, so that was what I was mostly apprehensive about. But he had trained so well since his last start, I figured he'd run a big race today.
You plan on keeping him here at Oaklawn or maybe sending him back to Fairgrounds?
Honestly, don't know. I'll probably call Gary as soon as we're done here, and we'll map out a plan. I'm not sure what the plan is.
Sounds good. We got an excellent win here today. Best of luck in the future, and always nice to see those Louisiana breds getting the wins against open foes.
All right, thank you so much.
Hey, Andy.
Well, Classic Time, who only Norm seems to think overcame a bias, gets it done at 8-5, pays 520 to win. Poker Night at V's just couldn't quite hold on, ran very well to be second. 8-3, the two chalks combined for exactly made $15 for $1. I couldn't have had it.
Listen, if you would have, I would have lost so much money booking that horse was done.
I keep the 10 with a 6 and 11.
I mean, it's just amazing. The only horse that I want to bet back out of that race is the 3 because nobody else did any running.
Well, according to Norm, he took advantage of that big speed bias
there.
So,
but I mean, there was nobody ran in that race.
I agree. I agree. It's really
crazy.
Interesting. It's like nobody else showed up, and there were a lot of horses that, at least on paper, seemed to have some credentials. Paul really said he wanted to work today because he is very excited
this
about
final
Turf
hour.
Paradise. And 12th Night, and I'm a big Shakespeare fan, seen some pretty good performances of 12th Night before. It's got some pedigree to be running in this race. We'll start with the one, Hold Your Temper, who hasn't run since September 24, and I don't even know what racetrack that was.
The Elko Derby in Nevada at one of the state fairs. It's a big race, the Elko Derby.
Well, that's why we have Paul here. The number 2, Reno, speaking of Nevada.
Reno, one of my favorite characters in Anything Goes. Reno Sweeney.
What's Anything Goes?
The
Prowling Cat, Victor Trujillo.
Yep, Frank Alvarado. Remember Frank Alvarado from his days here years ago in the saddle?
I do.
Yeah.
First-time starter, Ohm by Dark. See a daughter, son of Ohm.
Yeah, the dam Camille C's done all right on synthetic and all surfaces.
Not a terrible pedigree,
Yeah,
actually.
not bad at all,
I agree.
actually, for a horse in here.
Ain't behaving, seems to be behaving.
Yeah, blinkers going on, showed some speed, in some previous races in here.
12th Night has a $1 million pedigree, not only Quality Road, but also Hot Dixie Chick, and sold for $11,000.
Yeah, and also got beat 34 1/4 lengths at Del Mar.
Only go up from there.
Yeah, I mean, the winner of that race actually won the next race and then kind of tried stakes and not done so well.
Rocks a Lot, another one coming from California, rounds out the field.
It's definitely faced better fields, even though it was 12-5. Maiden Claimers cuts back here and comes in off of the layoff.
I just can't get over 12th Night's pedigree.
I know.
Hot Dixie Chick, I think Hot Dixie Chick ran 100 buyer when she broke her maiden for Steve Asmussen first time out. She obviously ran for Stone Street Stables, who bred this horse.
Yeah.
And, wow, on Quality Road as well. It's a horse that if this horse could have sold for $1 million with that pedigree.
I wouldn't doubt it, I mean, you look at it and just look at how much Quality Road costs to cover is $100,000, I think, as well. So, yeah,
I have to
for
pay
sure.
that in installments.
Yeah.
So where are you going here?
I just think Reno's going to be tough in here. I just think Reno's going to get to the front, probably not look back in this spot. Last time
like the speed.
Ran that 62 figure, was actually wide, around the track. This time kind of draws a little bit more inside. It's not in post 8 today. 1 to 2 shows it in here, but
if the truck can get in the gate, I would bet the truck here.
The truck may actually finish.
I'm just excited to see. I'm excited by the fact that you knew that was the, what is it? The
Elko Derby.
Elko Derby.
Nevada.
Were you out there for the race?
No, but it is one of the bigger races of the county fair that's there.
Wow. I'm very impressed by that. No buyer figs for the Elko Fair. I'm sorry. No buyer figs, yeah. No Time Form US figs either.
And hand time, too.
Yeah. John McGarry will have the call of race number 5 at 5 furlongs at Turf Paradise.
12th Night, Prowling Cat. Rocks a Lot with Kevin Krieger to the outside. That's the 4, owned by Dark, very fractious, and has been backed out of the starting gate. Looks like we're going to have a slight delay here, ladies and gentlemen.
Obviously, there are some issues. Don't know exactly what they are at Turf Paradise. So while we wait for that race to go, we're going to talk about a race coming up here a week from Saturday. It's actually, I think this is one of the first times the Gotham has ever been run in February. It's going to be run on February 28th. I believe we moved it up a week. Wood Memorial, not that far from there. A big field expected for this race. You know, it'll be interesting to see if Napoleon Solo has not run since that impressive win in the Champagne, comes back to run it a mile up here. And the Gotham has got a pretty storied history as well. I was here for Easy Goers Romp, and this was an impressive performance. We'll see how he does, though, coming back, as he has not run since the Champagne.
It's wild, too, because he was sharp early in this race. He set the pace, but he did it within himself. He wasn't forcing himself. He wasn't rushed. That's the performance we kind of thought the favorite was going to give in that race, and not Napoleon Solo, and it kind of ended up being the opposite. It was impressive. He's a fresh horse, which is always a good thing as they get started this year. We'll see if there's, you know, more improvement off of that effort. And
I don't think he'll do well in either this race or the Fountain of Youth. I think that the trainer is waffling between the two races as far as shipping up here. Probably better off starting around the one-turn mile. Fountain of Youth also the same day at Gulfstream Park. I am against this horse going forward.
I wonder if he, do you also think that he was against the track that day too? I mean, not against it before, the track carried him a little bit that day with speed.
I just don't think that race has turned out to be that good a race. I'm very interested to see what Iron Honor does, see if I can improve on that 122-1 I took on him in the Derby pool this weekend. A 95 buyer breaking his maiden first time out and has been training very well, according to trainer Shad Brown.
Yeah, he's a nice looking guy too, and ran well in that debut. And it's funny too, because you look at his pedigree and it doesn't really scream like, I don't know, it was a little bit more turfy for me, although there's blame there. But I mean, he ran so well for a debut runner for Chad. Like, everything was on point. You know, that race went is more than I think maybe he expected, you know, in that effort. So any improvement from this horse as well kind of puts him in the conversation. You know, you got to start somewhere, you know, and I know he has the maiden win, and you say, okay, well, it's February, can we get to where we need to be? But you have to start somewhere, and why not in this race? Right. You know, give him the shot.
He's a real wild card out there, because you've got a horse that ran a 95 buyer, which is faster than a lot of these 3-year-olds have ever run. In his debut, going 6.5 furlongs. Obviously, you know, you don't really know what kind of horse he is going longer, what he does. But Chad says he's training well, and I'll tell you what, this is a good year to have an up-and-coming wild card horse.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like, as we talked about earlier, when we talked about horses like Renegade and Paladin, like they are where they are, but there's plenty of room to get to their level or past them, and plenty of time to do it.
Balboa failed to get it done in the Jerome for Brittany Russell, finishing second, and he's going to have to step forward in this race to be effective.
I think so too, but I also think that he's kind of earned a shot to kind of do it here, because he's run here and at least finished within reason. You know, he wasn't beaten 6-7 lengths. So for me, I think he kind of deserves a shot against a group like this, because he can jump up and run a better race.
Well, the Gotham's been won by some great horses in the past, including the mighty Dr. Fager, who many old-timers will tell you is the best horse they ever saw. Another horse who is on the list of best horses of all time was also a winner of the Gotham.
Racing to the top of the stretch, Secretariat shows the way by 2.5 lengths. Champagne Charlie is second, 1.5 lengths. Dawn Flight is third, and Harrison Kidd past the quarter pole. With Secretariat now in front by 1.25 lengths. Champagne Charlie on the outside up to challenge. Down the stretch they come. Secretariat on the rail. Champagne Charlie on the outside, 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Secretariat on the inside in front by 1/2 length. Champagne Charlie second, 70 yards from the finish. It's Secretariat now in front.
Funny, after that race, he was upset by his stablemate Anglelight in the Wood Memorial, but the rest, as they say, is history, culminating with that incredible performance in the Belmont Stakes, one of the all-time greatest racehorses, Secretariat. I mean, you think about it, he won this race. Dr. Fager won this race. Easy Goer won this race. I mean, you look at the list of horses that won. There's also Gone West won this race. How about Lauren? Were you here for Lauren and Devil is Due? Dead heating in this race?
No.
Tremendous running of this race. Proud Appeal. There were some great races in there. And, of course, here's the Derby where Secretariat avenged that loss against Sham and Anglelight.
I would have loved to have seen him run.
Yeah. I saw this Derby. First Derby, I was at my grandmother's while visiting my grandmother, and she had, of course, bet the race. And we watched it. I can remember watching it with my grandmother.
She bet Secretariat out?
I don't know. Probably, well, I don't know, because if Angel had a mount in the race,
then
she bet whoever Angel rode, because Angel had no bigger fan than my grandmother. They're off at Turf Paradise in the 5th.
And they're off. Reno is charging out for the lead with Ain't Behavin'. Hold Your Temper scooting through at the inside to join them from third. Roxalot broke smoothly and is 2.5 lengths back in fourth. 12th Night is on the move from the far outside. Prowling Cat is at the back from the inside. They race to the far turn. Reno has spurted away to lead it by 3.5 lengths. Hold Your Temper, Ain't Behaving, giving chase a joint second. The opening quarter, a searing 21.26 seconds. 12th Night is under a ride, 7 lengths from the front in fourth. Then it's Prowling Cat in fifth. And the trailer is Roxalot. Top of the stretch, they turn for home. Reno is the boss. Reno by 1.5 lengths, 2. Hold Your Temper wheels out to challenge from second. Ain't Behaving weakens in third. 12th Night is in fourth. Then it's Roxalot in the final furlong. Reno confronted by Hold Your Temper. Reno digs in. Hold Your Temper runs at him from the outside. Reno, Hold Your Temper. They're in a cutthroat duel. Hold Your Temper, Reno. It is Hold Your Temper, the winner. Beating a game and determined Reno by a neck. Ain't Behaving a distant third. A photo for fourth.
Racing fans in Reno have been waiting for the return of Hold Your Temper. Third in his debut in the Elko Derby. Broke well, sat the perfect trip, and ran down Reno to get the job done in the 5th race. We were rooting for the Elko Derby.
I was, man. I'll tell you. And it's Drew Hall's first win of this year, too. So I was pulling for this guy right here.
Forever Young, 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. Hold Your Temper, 3rd in the Elko Derby. You know what? If you bet him, you're happier for him than you are for Forever Young.
It's wild. He actually made more in this race than he made in the Elko Derby. Purse was higher here.
Yeah, I'm going to make it a life's mission to head to see the Elko Derby at some point in my life. And Elko Derby, Hold Your Temper runs down Reno.
Yeah.
So people in Nevada just scored out.
Scoop
that.
A
lot more to
pot.
come on America's Day at the Races. We'll take a quick break.
Prince of Monaco's Too Good for Moose, an impressive winner of the Best Pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco too good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Some horses are remembered, other horses are passed down like an heirloom. He's the kind of horse that lives in stories, each better than the one before, hardened like a diamond, and equally brilliant. He ran 3 straight years at the highest level, and he himself was elite.
Putting on a show in the Preakness. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be National Treasure.
National Treasure would not be denied. National Treasure wins the Pegasus World Cup.
In the blink of an eye has opened up a 5-length advantage. It's a 1-horse race. National Treasure.
There's There's a brilliance in the way he moved and a tenacity in how he finished. By quality road with a wealth of family, and he raced like he knew it. National Treasure, the key to quality.
We're standing in Oaklawn's new receiving barn, which is pretty cool since they've literally never had a receiving barn. So I had some ideas, and I talked to a lot of other folks with receiving barns. So we kind of took everyone's idea, and I tried to implement it to the construction. So basically, I'm sort of an advisor between a horseman and the construction people. They're building they believe, a state-of-the-art receiving barn that is focused primarily on keeping down the risk of contamination and making things safer for the horses.
The feed will be delivered through the outside. They won't have any reason to step inside where people were trying to run their racehorses. They deliver it right here, and then it's under a locking key.
We've designed it to where there shouldn't be a reason for a lot of people in the barn. We have it to where there's a clean line side of everything. Also, the stalls were designed to try to be to where you could wipe them off and keep them clean, and where a horse couldn't reach things out of the stall to lick on, which we know horses love to lick and chew. We made a little bit higher yoke on the stalls, and we made it to where there wouldn't be somebody bringing in outside contaminants and hopefully not exposing somebody unnecessarily. Oaklawn, you know, they're one of the only people that I know that run races, and especially at Racino, that are building barns. They've built, in the last 12 years, I think they've built somewhere around 16 new barns. They've sort of just said, hey, we are investing in horse racing, and from a horseman's standpoint, I'm glad to see that, so I'm very willing to help at anything regarding horses.
And it really is a terrific receiving barn. I was over there with Ron. He gave me the tour, and they just did a great job with it. He helped design it, so a horseman knowing what is best for the horses.
Absolutely. He's not only done a tremendous job with the receiving barn, but so many topics, horseman facing, representing the horsemen of Arkansas, and here at Oaklawn, the mayor of Oaklawn, as we fondly think of, and Ron Moquette. But I thought, Meg, that this 9th race was kind of an interesting one, especially at the level where, in a kind of a day where it felt like, despite obviously a favorite getting it done in the last race, felt like it could be a favorites type race.
Yeah, now we're going to start down with the 1, and we'll talk more specifically, but the 1 is Devil's Fork, short leaf stable, John and Anthony, bred right here in Arkansas.
The 1, yeah, we will talk about this later, but not the best of actors in the paddock whatsoever.
No, he was a handful. The 2 weaponized at a big price.
Big closer, and big price has been not so effective on the synthetic getting back to the dirt.
A horse that I know you have a little interest in, the 3, Scottish Storm.
Yeah, Greg Compton here, getting even more at distance. He's just compact, well made. I really do think that he could wake up, given some of his back form efforts, in an interesting group.
And the 4, Major Dax, getting back down to that $32,000 level.
A sufficient drop in class for a horse that hasn't been showing a whole lot lately.
The 5 is Bourbon Society.
Should be a speed, pace presence on the front end.
6 was a late scratch. We're up to the 7, Swamp King.
Another that's tough to handle in the paddock, Slacker Pasterns, looks like a turf type.
A horse that I know I really like, and I think you're a bit interested as well, is the 8, Tyler's Turn.
I went ahead and landed on this horse. Very sharp in the paddock. We'll see if that translates to some more early speed.
And the 9, City of Angels. He's moving up from $10,000 level at Del Mar.
He is. Gets Christian Torres aboard off of the layoff. Thought he could possibly use the race. Just a tick overdone fitness-wise. We'll see how he manages.
And then the far outside runner, the 10, Rebel Moon.
First time gelding. Another one, just longer bodied, really elongated in his frame. Looks like he'll appreciate every bit of this route distance.
Now, we were talking off camera about the 1, Devil's Fork. Now, Devil's Fork, they brought him out to the winner's circle out of the paddock because he was being a handful. John Ortiz took him in his hands himself, good horsemanship, But, boy, the valets and John did some job just even getting the tack on this horse. He was tough.
He was extremely hard to handle. It was one of those situations where you just got to keep a horse like that moving, and sometimes that's hard to do in the compact, kind of tighter quartered Oaklawn paddock that we have here. And luckily, I didn't think they were going to get the tack on this horse. Meg, I thought it was that tough. I don't think we've seen it that tough here in quite some time, but kudos to the assistant and to John for getting it done, as he was sharp and on his toes as soon as he got to the track as well.
And the valets here at Oaklawn, they're really good horsemen, and they really do a great job. And it was a team effort to get it done, so good job on them. A compliment to their horsemanship. The 3, Scottish Storm. Talk to me about this horse.
Okay, I know it's a little bit of a trying to throw it in, but just on facts and figures, I like the way this horse kind of fits into this group as he gets down to this $32,000 level, gets the distance, even more distance than, of course, the mile that he got last time out. He's kind of a burlier type Matoli. He's kind of more compact, so I understand why they tried getting him shorter, but just as far as his running style, he's one that I feel like you kind of have to ag on, get along a little bit, ride him there, and I just think that if he gets a little bit more distance, despite maybe what you think of him at first glance, he could be interesting at a bit of a price. While I don't like him anywhere near as much as I do the 8, I just thought he could be something to stack underneath there for Greg Compton.
Well, and he picks up the hot riding Ramon Vasquez, and I would expect him to be a little bit more forwardly placed. Of course, we're going to take a look at is the 5 Bourbon Society. He's also kind of taking a drop in class.
So we take a look at Bourbon Society's believe 2-back race there at Indiana, as he was forwardly placed and just kind of in a merry-go-round chase mode, though he was incredibly game. He was forwardly placed, again, lacked that last bit that he needed, and he was back to showing that early speed, of which I think he's going to be able to do yet again in here today.
I think he's most effective when it's so interesting. Horses have styles, and some just don't give you their best when they don't get to run the way they want to run. They get easily discouraged. I think he will be forward, and I think that will help his cause a great deal. Horse that we both like is the 8, Tyler's Turn. He just seems to make a lot of sense to me. It feels like some of his races, synthetic, one on turf, one in the slop, or the mud, I should say, kind of dirtied up his form a touch.
It did, and honestly, I'm surprised he's not shorter than the 7-2 you're fetching on him right now. The number 8, Tyler's Turn. He was actually scratched out of a race on February the 8th here at Oaklawn for a $12,500 tag. So they opted to go ahead and put him in a tougher group, and he was very sharp in the paddock, very much on his toes with himself. And I just wonder, he's not really shown a whole lot of early speed. Will that translate? We shall see. But I will 2-back. Both of those horses that were in front of him did come back to regress in an allowance spot. So while those numbers are great, I felt like he was the most trustworthy in terms of some of those back efforts, because there's kind of an interesting race to pick through some of this form.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he came out on the track and he just had and listen, this has nothing to do with handicapping or who's going to win and lose. But for me as a horse person, I love when you see a horse that has that clear, intelligent eye. He just kind of came out and surveyed everything. And I like a horse when they do that, because it speaks of a horse that's doing well and has confidence.
For sure, but I will say this, they tried him on the turf, they tried him on the synthetic, and I think that his dirt efforts, we kind of both said this is his first time getting to a fast dirt track. So being able to do that, I think, will be to his credit as well. Physically, I think he wants every bit of this 1 1/16 that he's going to get.
And Megan, we get horses from all different jurisdictions come into Oaklawn Park, and here you have the 9, City of Angels, coming from Southern California, Del Mar. He was claimed last time for $10,000 by Sean Williams. He adds blinkers, moves up to the $32,000 level. What do you make of that hike in class for a horse that was narrowly defeated for $10,000?
I say try him here at Oaklawn, right? And that's kind of when picking Sean's brain about where he puts horses. He is astute in trying to figure out, okay, where do we go from here, especially out in California, where some of those efforts can be a bit tougher. But as far as the company he faced last time out as the even money beaten favorite, both of those horses regressed coming out of that race that beat him. So, where he was near there on that kind of closing run. So I'm not overly enthralled by the company he faced that day, and I'm not overly enthralled at taking him in here.
And he's 1 for 13 with 4 seconds. I don't like when horses start accumulating far more seconds than wins. And again, just seeing how that translates from that $10,000 level moving on up. You do get Christian Torres. Not a bad thing here at Oaklawn Park. I don't think anybody's riding any better than him.
He does get the blinkers on. The number 9, City of Angels, perhaps will show even more of that early speed. As Mig, there isn't a plethora of it in this spot at all. I think the 5 will be forward, but other than the 5, I mean, who controls here?
It's a very good question. It very well could be the 9 with the addition of blinkers, City of Angels, who will be forward or more forward. One thing, there's always principles of riding. Get your position going forward. Never take anything away that comes easy. And you have to save ground. Well, let's see who works out that trip here in the nightcap at Oaklawn Park, as we're going to send it upstairs for the last time today, and Matt Dinnerman.
Position 5. Weaponized goes forward. Swamp King, post position 7. Scottish Storm walking up. Tyler's Turn. Major Dax in the blue. 2 back. City of Angels, Rebel Moon, outside pose. We're ready to go in the nightcap. And we're off. Rebel Moon bobbled badly at the break and lost many lengths there. Bourbon Society wasting no time on the lead. City of Angels in the second spot early. Devil's Fork runs in the third. Weaponized, and Major Dax is going to be 3 deep as they go into the first turn run. A gap of 3 to Scottish Storm settles on the rail. Tyler's Turn to the outside. Swamp King is second to last, and Rebel Moon can only see backside as they make their way towards the backstretch. Bourbon Society, Abel Cedillo won the start, and they're on the lead here. A neck in front. City of Angels hounding from the outside, a little bit aggressive to come up and apply some heat here. Gap of 2. Devil's Fork in the third position. Major Dax to the outside. Scottish Storm on the rails. 6 lengths off the pace. A half length to Tyler's Turn. Another 2 to Weaponized. 4 more to Rebel Moon. And Swamp King now drops to the back as they make their way towards the half-mile pole. Bourbon Society still on the lead. Went at a decent tempo. 3 parts of a length ahead. City of Angels still right there outside, getting a breather, going okay. Gap of 5 to Devil's Fork. Major Dax trying to get closer on the rail as they go into the far turn. They're really strung out here. Gap of 5 to Tyler's Turn, being asked to pick up the pace on the rail. Weaponized is 4th last. Scottish Storm is given way. Rebel Moon well out of it, as is Swamp King. Coming to the top of the stretch. City of Angels gliding to the lead, and Bourbon Society's coming under a hard ride. Inside of them coming off the turn. Major Dax swings 3 wide, and Devil's Fork tries to get into it as they come down the lane. Those two exchange a big brush with a furlong to go. City of Angels on the lead. Bourbon Society coming right back at him from the rail. Bourbon Society reclaims the lead from City of Angels, who hung badly in the stretch. Bourbon Society opens up late with a rebreak, and Bourbon Society wins the finale. City of Angels was second. Weaponized third. Major Dax next.
Well, it was a very, very game effort by the 5, Bourbon Society. We showed that replay of him earlier, and really came away with the impression the 9, City of Angels. Now 1 win, 5 seconds. He got there. He just had no intention of ever going by.
He doesn't like to pass horses. I mean, getting the blinkers on didn't seem to help with that either. And then he was right there, had the opportunity, and he is just always the type that seems to get beat. But the number 5, Bourbon Society, was the front end was exactly where you wanted to be in and mostly pace this race, as they went pretty slow up front. But while that said, he did get to kind of breathe and settle on the front end as he did. That was really game. Fighting on the inside, especially when you're taking pressure from an outside foe and being able to kind of not re-break, but find that last bit at the end and drawing away, was a nice performance from top to bottom.
City of Angels looks like the type you don't want to be in front until you're right on top of the wire. He just looked like he kind of half pulled himself up, but you can't take anything away from the winner. The 5, Bourbon Society, gets it done in a very, very game effort. Our 8 horse was kind of a no-show, wasn't he?
He was. That's okay, though. We'll come back and try again tomorrow. But as far as Bourbon Society, I mean, he's been running against some solid allowance foes, too, back the likes of Dance and Mo. So certainly warranted the class drop and ran to it.
And his rider, Amir Cedillo, certainly making it the best of whatever live mounts he's getting. That was a nice ride from him. A good, strong finish. I like when riders finish strong.
He did, and I knew you were going to. He really was, finishing on the inside there. But Devil's Fork, I didn't think would actually put forth that kind of run given how badly he acted up, and he did some running in there.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him next time. Hopefully he'll be a little bit calmer, maybe conserve more of his energy. Always like that gallop back after winning. Just kind of let the victory wash over you. We'll be back on the other side of this break on America's Day at the Races.
America's Day at the Races is brought to you in part by NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime through NYRA Bets. Cards are concluded here at Oaklawn Park, and a relatively chalky result is the favorite, I believe the favorite, 5-2, Bourbon Society, able to gut out the win. And I agree. Kind of a bit of a hang job by the second place finisher. Even Matt Dinnerman noted that horse hung.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch this race down the stretch and just see for yourself what happened with City of Angels on the outside. But it was a nice run, you know, for Bourbon Street, hanging in there, down there, and being able to put away a horse that actually looked like got in front of him, you know, right there. Came back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He got in
you know,
front
City
of him.
Angels got in front, kind of came back then on the inside, and boy, he just stopped.
He just didn't want to get in that winner's circle.
Yeah, when Bourbon Street came back, Bourbon Society, came back in front of him. So, nice effort.
A lot of Bourbon horses. Hard to keep them all straight.
I know. The Bourbon would be nice right now,
Dinnerman.
actually, at the end of the day.
Appreciate Matt's call. Matt is incredibly enthusiastic and a great fan of racing.
Yes.
You know, he really is. Comes up to visit us in Saratoga while he's calling at Monmouth in the summer. $7.40 on Bourbon Society, $7 in the middle. Wow, 4-1 City of Angels. Big price in the middle, as there will be a carryover, by the way, in the Classic 6. Just a little over our carryover, actually. We're heading back to Turf Paradise. You are excited that we get to do this post-parade, or are they just heading to the gate?
Heading to the gate, I think.
All right, get some opinions from you, Paul. Earn your keep.
Listen, We were strong about the Elko Derby last time, but take a look at the favorite in here, the number 4, Spinard, in this spot. Comes out of a minor stakes race over at Sunland. Now gets back to Turf Paradise, where he's done well. He should be forward in this spot, I would think, if he gets an aggressive ride in here. I think the horse that offers a little bit of value in here is the horse that's getting back to the dirt, and that's the number 6, Crusher Royale. We'll see what this horse does getting back to dirt in here at 5-1. Has some okay dirt races.
Crusher Royale sounds like a wrestler, doesn't it? It either sounds like a wrestling move or an actual wrestler.
Okay.
What do you think? John McGarry's going to have the call.
Yeah, see what he thinks.
Of the 6th.
Burglar, the last one. Ready for start. And they're off. Crusher Royale is heading out for the lead with Spinard. Atmospheric River's also prominent, as is I Am Freaky Fast. And on the far side, here's KG Burglar surging up to head them off as they move into that first turn. It's KG Burglar on the far outside looking to cross and clear. On the inside, I Am Freaky Fast trying to stretch him out. Spinard is right there in and among rivals. Crusher Royale is pushing forward from the outside. My Cairo Kid, the gray, is 2 lengths back in 5th. Atmospheric River now wrangled back in 6th. By Decreed is the trailer turning onto the backstretch. 6 furlongs to go. Opening quarter, 24.27 seconds. KG Burglar with his ears pricked is leading the way here by a length. Crush Royale has moved to 2nd. I Am Freaky Fast right there tucked in 3rd. And Spinard a close-up 4th, just 2.5 lengths from the front. My Cairo Kid is 2 lengths farther back in 5th, and it's 4 lengths to Atmospheric River. And on that one's outside is By Decreed. The half in 47.89 seconds. They bank onto the final turn. KG Burglar, Crush Royale turning up their pressure 2nd. Spinard ready to pounce from 3rd. He's got 2.5 lengths to make up. Inside, I Am Freaky Fast is hard-ridden but losing ground. My Cairo Kid is 1 pace, followed by Atmospheric River. And By Decreed is 4 lengths last, 6 furlongs, 111.41 seconds. Crush Royale has taken the lead as they turn for home. KG Burglar trying to battle back 2nd. Spinard putting in his run from the outside 3rd. Then it's Atmospheric River in 4th. A final furlong. Spinard powers up and takes the lead. Crush Royale is back to 2nd. Atmospheric River, My Cairo Kid, they're coming to the wire, and it's Spinard who's pulling away. Spinard has won it. Crush Royale was 2nd best. My Cairo Kid edged Atmospheric River for the show.
Spinard looked like the speed on paper. He got rated, but it did not matter as he swallowed up your pricey pick and Crusher Royale down the lane. An easy win for Spinard.
Turning back the clock. You know, if this was the mid to late 90s, Frank Alvarado would be in that winner's circle down here instead of the Turf Paradise one. But nice ride. I mean, he did kind of get strangled back off the pace. Ultimately, it was the right thing, and he was just the best horse in the race. But it was an improved effort as well, getting back on dirt for Crusher Royale in this spot. So, we'll see what they do going forward.
And working out a very good trip in there to get things done, but he was clearly best. In the 6th at Turf Paradise, a lot more to come. We're done with racing today, but we got to preview some big races. I want to know if you guys have any ideas of how Hall and Ice can possibly lose the Down the Dusty Road.
Well, Down the Dusty Road in Hall and Ice, I don't really see a way that she gets beat. I mean, obviously it's a horse race. They all have to go out there and compete, but she is standing at $998,000 in earnings. 2 more thousand, she goes over the million. It'll be the first Arkansas bred in history to earn over $1 million. The first New York bred to ever do it was a horse named Wynn that I had the pleasure of riding. But this is a really nice mare. 10 for 19 lifetime with 5 seconds. Megan, she just shows up every single time.
Exactly put. So she is an ultra consistent commodity. The class of this field, I think she'll, I don't think there'll be a more overwhelming favorite that we've seen so far this meet to me, Mig, as we take a look at Hall and Ice back on September the 20th, 2025, winning that Princess Rooney, a grade 3 against open foes, just driving finish that day. She actually got on the lead, which is something that she's so handy. I find that she can do whatever you really ask of her, whether that's sit behind horses, get on the lead as she did this day, and just trounced a field, including NYRA Bets, who came back to win a stakes here at Oaklawn Park. There she is running at 40-1 behind her, but Hall and Ice is just towers over this field in terms of class as she looks to make history for her Arkansas bred status. And Safi pointed her here for a reason and for that accomplishment.
It's a $150,000 race for Arkansas breds. She's versatile and she has the most natural ability. But the 2-horse, Hush It Honey, has some races that at least put her in the frame. She's never run as fast as Haul and Ice.
She'll likely be the second choice here for Randy Morris and Rafael Bejarano as we take a look at her performance last time out as she got a bit of time away up there at 8-1. Again, she's kind of a rateable type. She can sit behind horses. She's tactically placed there with some forward speed. And she's just, is she as good as Haul and Ice? She did win, of course, that Arkansas bred stake all the way back in 2024 as she has been running up against open foes since. And she's just, to me, a cup below. If Haul and Ice doesn't have her day, certainly Hush and Honey could come get her, but we saw Ewing kind of not fire his best last weekend. This is horse racing, and it can happen from time to time.
Well, I do believe it'll be a gray horse, and she is gray, as is Haul and Ice. And she is 6 for 12 lifetime, so a competitive type, and earned nearly $400,000 up to the point. A credit to the Arkansas bred program. And guys, been a fun day going back and forth with you guys talking racing all day.
I always feel like the Down the Dusty Road is named for an ELO song. Doesn't it sound like an Electric Light Orchestra song?
Got a good 70s rock band.
Very good, very good Arkansas bred. One of the best Arkansas breds, actually. Haul and Ice, though, making a claim for that. Well, we saw the second choice Brunch from Amy get it done for leading trainer Linda Rice and Kendra Carmouche. An absolutely picture-perfect ride in race number 6. We also saw Classic Time, the old They Knew at Oaklawn Park, winning their 8th race as well in those familiar Gary Barber silks. We'll see you again tomorrow on America's Day at the Races, 3 to 6:30. Have a great night.
Flightline is in full flight. Flightline turns it on at the top of the stretch, and he's in cruise control.
And Flightline takes off! Take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flightline, 20 lengths clear.
World-class racehorse, world-class performance, and a world championship event.
Join analysts Matthew DeSantis and Kaylee Shapiro on the road to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Get picks and analysis for all the prep races and gain insight into promising contenders on the trail to the Derby and Oaks. That and more on the NYRA Bets YouTube channel. The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.